theory, it may be just weeks away from March Madness, Diesel, but here we are, nonetheless, talking college football playoff, and for good reason. For the second time in 4 months, conference leaders from the SEC and Big Ten met in person to discuss common ground. I don't know what that is anymore. During a critical decision-making period in college athletics, Wednesday's meeting in New Orleans included discussions about the House versus NCAA settlement and future NCAA governance, but it also included important conversations about the college football playoff and what the two most powerful conferences want it to look like moving forward. Welcome into Wire Wire. He, to my right, is Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson, and we are live at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. It's the Powdersville Eagles, and we want to see you here today until 7 p.m. Furman basketball as well tonight. Diesel, more changes incoming to the college football playoff. Intrigued a little, a lot, or not at all?
It's funny, Cole, that you used the word. What was the phrase you used there? Common ground. I think common ground means collusion. I think Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti are going to collude to make sure that their interests align and they will all get what they want. You don't screw me, I won't screw you, and let's build this thing the way we want it to look in our own image. And I think that's what's going on in these meetings, Cole. There's a lot of collusion because it's interesting.
Collusion.
The ACC is not invited to these meetings. The Big 12 is not invited to these meetings. None of the Group of Five conference.
No.
Oh, it's going to affect them. It's going to affect them in a big-time way, but they're not invited to be a part of this thing because, Cole, they tried this a year ago. A year ago, they flirted with this idea, which we all kind of saw coming down the tracks like a freight train coming our way. We saw this big bright light coming at us that said these guys are going to break away and make their own two-league super conference, two-division super conference or sport or whatever you want to call it, and they're going to do it the way they want it to be done so that they get the lion's share of all the resources and the programming and the college football playoff berths, and they failed. They failed the first time around, and now they're swinging back around to say, you know what? Let's see if we can get what we want this time because we cannot let happen again what happened this year. They will find a way, Cole, to make sure that Alabama gets into the playoff because that is unacceptable.
So much to get into, so many different angles here. Want to hear from you, Tolos, as well during this segment. Phone lines are open. The text line always open at 844-326-3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE, F-O-N-E. Yeah, we know phone's not spelled that way in real life, but on the Fan Upstate, it's 844-FAN-PHONE. What are the Big Ten and SEC's playoff priorities, Diesel? Could there be more college football playoff home games? Could there be more college football play-in games? What's the latest in talks of a scheduling partnership? What do other leagues think of the SEC and Big Ten partnership? Big shout-out to Heather Dinich, who I don't think gets enough credit for the coverage that she gives to us. Heather Dinich of ESPN. Diesel had a fantastic article about this on ESPN.com. Again, they met last night, and Heather Dinich is all over it, man. She's there. I don't know what her involvement is in the actual meeting. I don't know if she's allowed in those doors, but Diesel, Heather Dinich, when it comes to what's happening with the Big Ten and the SEC, there's nobody better.
I do wonder if she got a pay raise when she moved up from covering the ACC because that was her beat for a long, long time, and she was very, very good at it. And now she's moved up to the SEC. So I do wonder, Cole, if she's basically doubled her salary. If the SEC is getting double the payout the ACC is getting, why wouldn't she get double the salary for covering that?
Was she on SportsCenter back earlier?
I know I've seen her on a handful of times. I think she's more of a print writer than she is like a TV personality. But I know they would bring her on specifically to cover the ACC. That's for sure.
What do you think? Let's start with that. And that's what she talks about because you brought it up, the common ground or the collusion, if you will, right? When you talk about the priorities, Diesel, in this meeting of the Big Ten and of the SEC, everyone's trying to figure out how many teams should be in, right? It'll be at least 12. We know that. They're trying to figure out how they should qualify. Should certain conferences be guaranteed spots? And if so, how many and how they should be seeded? Diesel, the SEC and the Big Ten have the bulk of the control, as you mentioned, over what the college football playoff will look like when the new contract with ESPN begins following the 2025 season. That power was part of the negotiation process, though. If you remember, that also included guaranteed access for conference champions and certain protections for, guess who? Notre Dame. It always seems like there's a protection for Notre Dame. But the college football playoff conversations of unfolding, Diesel, could be twofold, right? Which would have to be agreed upon by every party. More significant changes for the 2026 season, I believe, than the immediate future, which is the 2025 season. But the SEC, Big Ten, when it comes to their priorities, do you feel like they are wanting to, or do they have the goal of including everybody in this, or is it just truly, in your mind, only what works for them and what makes those two conferences better in the end?
I think they're going to leave just enough breadcrumbs on the table to prevent the other conferences from banding together and suing them, because I think that's ultimately what they want, Cole. They want to be sued,
no lawsuits, right?
So that they can say, all right, guys, this is an untenable situation.
We're out.
We're out. We tried. We offered you we offered you 10 cents on the dollar and you didn't take it. Us two, the SEC and the Big Ten, we make 90 cents on the dollar. We're going to let you guys split the 10 cents on the dollar. And if you don't like it, at least we tried, right? They can say that they tried in the negotiation process, even though it's a completely pointless offer and it's a bad offer. In the ACC, the Big 12, and the rest of the G5, those 5 other conferences, they shouldn't accept this offer. It's terrible. But that's what the Big Ten and the SEC want. They want those conferences to say, okay, enough is enough, Cole. And this is going to blow your mind a little bit. You know how we've always talked about the G5 needing their own playoff?
Mm-hmm.
I've been adamantly against it for the longest time because I saw what happened to the FCS or 1AA division when the money overwhelmingly pushed towards the power conferences. At this point, I don't even know if I want my team to be a part of this bleep show. I genuinely don't want them to be a part of it because it's a dirty championship. It's a dirty championship when you have to stack the deck to make sure you get your way. I mean, what happens in the future, Cole? And don't laugh. This is purely a hypothetical, but I guess it's theoretically possible. Pretend for a moment that the SEC and the Big Ten get what they want, and they each get their 4 teams into the playoff, whether it's a 12-team playoff or a 14 or a 16-team playoff, whatever it is. They get each their 4 in. What if the conference goes through a downtime? What if it starts to slump for some reason? What if the Big 12 or the ACC step up and start having, 3, 4, 5 powerhouse teams? Again, don't laugh. I'm just talking about the possibility. So what do they do? What happens if you have to leave an elite Virginia Tech out of the playoff because the contract says you got to put in a mediocre Ole Miss?
And does that not go back to what I've said the whole time about not having too many stipulations, too many rules, too many, procedures as to what this should look like? One suggestion, Diesel, is to change the seating for this fall, 2025, to use the selection committee's ranking for the seeding while still making room for the 5 highest-ranked conference champions. In that model, the committee's top 4 teams would earn the top 4 seeds and first-round byes regardless of whether they are conference champions or not. That would also open the door for Notre Dame, which can't win a conference title, right, because they're not in the conference as an independent.
Yep.
So if they went with that method to earn a first-round bye as a top 4 seed, you would be able to get a team like Notre Dame in. Some don't see the bye as a positive, as all 4 teams that have received the bye, what they do, they lost, right, in the first inaugural 12-team.
You know what?
Field.
I think they should just keep handing out byes. Just keep doing it because it's clearly not a competitive advantage to get the extra rest. You need to be out there on the field. You need to be playing high-level competition. We saw it with the Atlanta Braves a couple of years ago. We saw it with the college football playoff this year. We see it in Major League Baseball playoffs every single year that you need to keep playing high-level ball. And if you take too much time off, you're going to be rusty, especially when you're playing a team who has been playing high-level ball in the meantime. That is certainly a competitive advantage to keep playing. And, as Lane Kiffin joked and a couple of other coaches in college football joked this offseason, maybe it's a good thing to not make our conference championship game because it puts us back out there on the field sooner. It's going to be really interesting, Cole. I was reading up on a couple of different articles about all of these changes coming.
Yeah.
And Dennis Dodd, a guy that you and I both love to read, a guy that both of us respect a lot, said that knowing who will be in the playoff a month before the season ends, and he said that's a real possibility of knowing that Iowa, for example, or Michigan or Southern Cal or Oregon or whoever it is locked for the playoff a month before the season ends, quote, reeks of pro wrestling. He's like, not trying to cast any aspersions on pro wrestling, he says, because pro wrestling is entertainment. But we also know that pro wrestling is scripted, and setting it up so that a team will be a lock in the playoffs a month before the season end, quote, reeks of pro wrestling. And he says the best thing about college football is that it's entirely unscripted. But if this happens, college football will lose its unscripted appeal.
Does he mean in terms of the rankings of the committee already being the top 4?
He means just the unpredictability of college football. Anybody could lose on any given day. There's still a chance that Ohio State loses to Purdue in the last week of the season, and that greatly hurts them. If you lock somebody in early, what's their impetus to play anybody? Like play their number ones, right? Yeah. They could certainly just phone it in, start playing their number 2s, let those guys get reps, and make sure everybody's rested and healed and ready to go for the playoff. I hate this, Cole. You don't understand how much I hate this, and I understand this year was kind of a season of chaos, and what we had happen with Arizona State getting in, with Boise State getting a bye. In most years, that's not going to be a problem. The only issue is that it happened in the very first year of the 12-team expanded playoff. And so now all these high-ranking dudes with very expensive ties and watches are saying, whoa, we got to ensure this can't happen again, rather than assuming or hoping that it's just an anomaly for the first year.
And just how long until it expands, right? We'll get into that. JD, text the show, which you can do at 844-326-3663. JD says, I don't know that they will make sure to get Bama in now that Nick isn't there, but SEC definitely will fight to get more of their teams in, says JD.
It's just about getting the brands in. That's the point I'm trying to make.
And it'll be interesting to see once it expands, right? You would think that more and more of those brands will be a lock, because one Big Ten source told Heather Dinich that, it's going to go to 14. I would bank on that. And what makes that so interesting, Diesel, if it does go to 14, that would mean 2 teams earn first-round buys instead of the current 4. If the Big Ten and the SEC agreed to a seeding model that mirrors the selections committee final ranking more than it did this season, those 2 first-round buys could be open to the 2 highest-ranked teams, the 1 and 2, regardless of what conference they're from.
Cole, why is it that conference commissioners, sitting conference commissioners, have the ability to shape the sport? When you talk about things from a legal perspective, there's 3 words that people always bring up that usually precludes somebody who's too close to the situation from being around. It's called conflict of interest. If I have a rooting or a vested interest in an endeavor, I can't be in the room deciding how this thing goes, because then I can stack the deck for myself. And I guess this is a symptom of not having any centralized leadership at all. And I think, Cole, honestly, that's the way, Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey like it. Yeah. They don't want a commissioner of college football because they fancy themselves as the commissioners of college football.
Well, it's a lot easier to accomplish their goals, right, and push their agendas and their objectives if there's not a commissioner. One Big Ten source, Diesel, said, we've got to figure out a way to get to 14 or 16. We've got to get 4 automatics. We've got to get the Big 12 and ACC to join in. That's the goal. It's also a major question because one ACC source said it does become a little bit of an invitational. Will there be circumstances where a Big 12 or ACC might have 3 really good and deserving teams to come in, and all of a sudden these spots are taken up through other teams from the SEC or the Big Ten That's a difficult one, says one ACC source. He also said that he understands that who has the gold makes a little bit of the rules, right? Meaning who's got the cash, who's got the money. The SEC and the Big Ten, they do make. So, it's funny to think that some of these commissioners of other leagues are saying, hey, we gotta understand. Like, they've got the money. They're setting the rules. Maybe we just shut up and get in line.
That is capitulation on the scale that we're currently seeing in a lot of international diplomacy. Oh, well, we really want to have a part in this thing, so, yeah, please walk all over us. Why don't you? Cole, do you know the actor Lee Majors? He was in a lot of Westerns back in the day, a lot of TV shows back in the day. He, in one of his movies, he had a quote that said, the golden rule is he who holds the gold card makes the rules. And that's exactly what's going on in this situation. This stinks to high heaven, Cole. And, when you start eroding people's confidence in the game, in the purity of the game, and we can talk to the end of the show about, well, people shouldn't have believed that the game was pure anyway, considering everything that's happened over the last 50 years of college football. But if you start making them believe that the postseason and the championship process is rigged to help out certain conferences, they're going to say, well, I'm not sure this is a legitimate championship. And some of you might be saying, well, I'm a fan of an SEC team, or I'm a fan of a Big Ten team, so this goes to benefit me.
Yeah.
Think farther than the end of your nose. Would you look just a little farther out into the distance than the end of your nose and start thinking about the overall good of college football? Are you willing to sacrifice the purity of what makes college football great just in this selfish endeavor that maybe your team benefits from this and your team makes a 12-team playoff? I mean, come on. It's like building your house on sand. And, the Bible did talk about building the house on sand. It's not a good idea.
Ultimately, there's so many ideas. There's no shortage, Diesel, of ideas floating around. One more before we run to a break that I do find intriguing is the possibility of more college football playoff home games. I was big on the college football playoff games being at stadiums this year. I really like that. They were a roaring success, especially when it came to the revenue that was brought in. But there's some support within the SEC and Big Ten at the AD level, Diesel, for more playoff games on more campuses.
I love it.
I do too. It's not unique to two conferences, but there's also an underlying desire by many to preserve the history of the sports, most lucrative and traditional bowl games like the Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta, Peach, and Cotton. One SEC source said, I don't think anybody wants to kill the major bowls on their watch, especially when they've not only been good for college football historically, but think about what they've had to accept and embrace, even when it's so different from what they're used to. So I don't know that those bowls are in danger because
translation, we want to kill the major bowls. We don't think they serve a purpose anymore, but none of us have the stones to actually pull the trigger and make it happen.
And I don't think it will. Look, do I love the meaningless bowl games that happen on a Tuesday morning at 11 a.m.? No. But those bowls in particular, when it comes to the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, I think those should be preserved, right? Because they are part of what made college football so great to begin with. And I know bowl games aren't anywhere close to what they once were, Diesel, but these I just don't feel like some of these teams playing in meaningless games. I don't know. It's just one SEC source said this. If none of these high-profile teams are playing meaningful games in their venue and they're setting on an annual basis, they're not going to be able to survive. Another source from the SEC said, I don't know that we need them for the good of the game, talking about bowl games, to survive. It's just hard for people to wrap their head around, and that's why ultimately I think bowl games 10 years from now will be obsolete.
I find it fascinating, Cole, that it's sort of the pretentious, we're too good for this, big-time power programs and conferences who keep spreading the meaningless bowl game narrative. Bowl games are meaningless to you because you think you're better than going to the Independence Bowl or the Pinstripes Bowl or this bowl or that bowl. If that's the case, let it die. Don't accept the invitation. If you don't want to be in the bowl game, don't go. Nobody's forcing you to go. But when you start creating this narrative that all bowl games are meaningless, you start taking away from people that you're not even considering the fact that they think their bowl games do have meaning. So you're out there saying, well, I don't care if I'm an Ole Miss fan or if I'm a South Carolina fan or if I'm a Minnesota fan. I don't care about playing in the Boca Raton Bowl. Well, then just don't accept the invitation. If it's that meaningless to you, don't go and let everybody else have the games they want in peace.
Dewey says, my house is built on sand. Michael says on the text line, I have a tie and a tag watch on. Can't I be on the committee? Yes.
I believe whatever committee you want,
I think
Michael.
you can, Michael. If you have a tag watch on, you're good to go, buddy.
It's prerequisite.
It's interesting, though, man.
You gotta look the part.
We'll talk a lot more about it from now to August, as there's not a lot of football obviously played, or not any football played until then. It's just so intriguing to see the decisions that could possibly be made, not just now, but in the next 10 years, man. I think this thing's going to look a lot different.
Yeah, I'm begging for someone to seize power, basically, to have a coup across all of college football and say, okay, I'm in control now.
Commissioner,
right.
Yep.
We need a commissioner of college
Saban.
Football. He says he doesn't want it, though.
I know, he
I think he's a great guy to have. Like, come on, you telling me that Nick Saban, Mac Brown, and, I don't know, Josh Pate on a college football tribunal making decisions, not allowing conferences to do some of the harebrained, crazy stuff they want to do, like just acting as bumpers, right? You go bowling and you use the bumpers because you can't keep it between the lanes. So if this tribunal knows that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti can't keep it between the lanes because they're trying to skew it in their favor, you got to put up the guardrails and say enough is enough, man. We can't let you go down this road because it's bad for football.
Let's just offer it to Urban Meyer and be done with it. I mean, he'll kick the can down the road pretty good.
Oh, I was going to say, is he going to have some sort of kickoff party? Yeah.
Brian Pettit.
How about
it? Is.
How about it? Celebrities are in the building here, people. Wire to wire. Diesel and Cole Bryson on location at Ingles inside the Corner Cafe at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. Want to see you out here. You can come meet me, Cole, Evan, even Brian Pettit, who just walked through the door. On the other side of the break, Cole, let's take a look at the College Basketball Conference Championship races. And we'll do a little confidence scale. How confident are we in these teams' ability to either maintain their position or move up where they are in the championship race? That is coming up next here on The Fan Upstate.
Let's go to the Punk Rock Show!
hot in 5.
844 Fan Phone. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Doing an APB on one of our longtime Tolos, Madcraft. Where's he at these days? Has anybody seen Madcraft? If you have, get him here in the stream because we have over 50 people in the stream watching right now as we speak. Jump in on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. That's where you can watch the stream live. And now we are posting the stream on our Fan Upstate Twitter, Cole. They finally, the powers that be, broke out the checkbook. They dug around in the couch cushions. They found enough scratch to get us verified on Twitter. So we're doing a big deal. We are a big deal now. We are a bona fide.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Brian Pettit's in the house, too.
He is. Brian
Eagles,
Pettit is
baby.
here live and in person. And he says he's sending his son to school wearing the Fan Upstate T-shirts, which is great. And we have one sitting on the table. We have a Furman T-shirt to give away. We have all kinds of cool prizes.
Furman tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
Quick programming.
That's true. Furman is playing. Who do they play tonight?
They are playing. Oh, gosh.
Oh, do you know?
Oh, gosh. It's not ETSU. Wait a minute. It is ETSU.
No,
is it ETSU?
it's Samford.
Oh,
They're
I saw
on the road at Samford.
Oh, they're on the road tonight.
Yeah,
I saw Samford Saturday. They played at Walford, and Samford's a really good team, man. They
are good.
They've got one Mississippi State transfer that went off for 36 on Saturday. They're a good team. That's be
Samford sitting at 10-4 right now in the Southern Conference. As good as they are, Cole, they're in third place in that league. So, Furman is riding at 500 in SoCon play. It's it's such a weird league, such a weird season for this team. We all had such high expectations for Furman, but at the end of the day, Cole, all they need to do is go win their conference tournament, and they're in. There's no two-bid status for the Southern Conference, so it feels wrong to say, but the regular season really doesn't matter. It's all warm up. It's all getting your lineup. I mean, it matters as far as seeding goes.
Seeding, because if you can finish in the top 5 or 6, it's big for seeding purposes, and somehow not have to play one of those top dogs off the bat, man.
There are some conferences, and I know the Sun Belt did this. I think they tried this for 1 year, 2 years after they expanded. They weren't inviting everyone to the conference tournament. So, only 8 teams out of the 12 or 14 that were in the conference would even get into the conference tournament. So if you were in that kind of a league, it would certainly be an issue. But hey, you get into the Southern Conference tournament. You know what you have to do: just win all your games. That's all it takes. And we'll start there, Cole.
Makes it sound easy.
I know. It's no big deal,
just
right?
them all.
It's no big deal. But as we're coming down the stretch, we're coming down to the last 5-6 games, depending on which conference you're in. This Fly wants to be a part of the show. He's buzzing around.
Tolo, he's a Tolo.
Yeah, appreciate him. As we're getting down to this final stretch of games, Cole, a lot of these teams are running out of time to move up and get themselves a better seed in their conference tournament. Some of these teams are already locks pretty much for the NCAA tournament. But it's going to be really hard for a lot of these teams to move up and help themselves out in their conference tournaments. Top 3 right now in the ACC, Cole. And I want to look at not only where they are, but what they've got in front of them and kind of get a sense of, do we think they're going to move up, down, or stay neutral where they are with their number of games left? So Duke sits number 1 in the ACC at 15-1. They do have a head-to-head loss against Clemson that could come into play, but they've got Illinois. I don't know. They're playing an out-of-conference challenge game against them. Illinois, Miami, Florida State, Wake, and North Carolina. Stock up, stock down, neutral. They can't really go stock up from here because they're number 1. But stock down or neutral on Duke. Where do you think Duke finishes the ACC slate? Number 1 or somewhere else?
The postseason tournament, right?
Sure. No, I'm just saying in the regular season. Regular season
gotcha.
standings. I mean,
no. I think they stay where they are. I think they finish out as the top dog. The one loss to Clemson obviously made things intriguing, but Clemson has 2 losses. The one loss to Louisville, was it Georgia Tech? The Clemson having more ACC losses to Duke is what's going to ultimately keep Clemson out of winning the regular season conference. I think they're clearly – look, I know I may get pushed back here. I know Clemson beat Duke, but I think overall product-wise, Duke's still the best team. One of the best teams in college basketball. Well, they're hard to beat, man.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Duke is going to drop one more before the end of the season.
Oh, wow.
It's not going to be to Illinois, Miami, or Florida State. Those three teams are not good. But then they finish the season with Wake Forest and North Carolina. UNC, also not good, but it is the Duke-North Carolina rivalry. They're playing this game in Chapel Hill. Maybe R.J. Davis just goes off in a way that we haven't seen him go off.
And scores
for
90.
the entirety of the season. Right. I mean, if I had to pick one of those two teams that's most likely to upset Duke, I'd say it's going to be Wake, because I think Wake's
not bad.
A pretty decent team.
They're on the bubble right now.
They're on the bubble. Right. I think Wake could get it done. So I think there's a chance Duke drops one more before the season's out.
I think that Clemson loss made Duke focus a little bit. Might not have been the best thing, you know?
Here's the thing, though. I don't think losing one more is going to change anything.
Yeah,
I think they're going to stay at number one. I mean, because Clemson runs the table. You know, they've still got Southern Methodist, Notre Dame, Virginia, Boston College, and Virginia Tech. I think there's a 70% chance that they run the table down the stretch. They go 18-2 in conference, and then you got them tied for first place with Duke. That is if Duke loses that game. So I think there's a 1 and 2 probably stays right where they are.
It's top heavy though, isn't it? The ACC.
It is. Gosh. It is, because you got Louisville also sitting there at 13-2 with Florida State, Virginia Tech, Pitt, Cal, and Stanford left to go. 4 out of their 5 remaining games are home games. So Clemson better focus up, or they could lose the number 2 seed. Louisville could jump them. That is if Clemson drops this SMU game over the weekend. The good thing for Clemson, as we talked about it yesterday, Clemson has time off. SMU plays a game, I believe, tonight. Clemson has the time off so they can go there on the road and be focused. So you're saying scratch in the ACC. Duke, Clemson, Louisville, 1-2-3 finish?
I think so. I don't think there's I could be wrong. I don't think there's gonna be a ton of movement from the 5 games. We have 5 games left in the regular season. I don't anticipate a ton of movement there.
Texter says, Dukey's all the way, baby. This must be a Clemson fan text again. He's a PTPer, a primetime player, baby. A diaper dandies. That says Michael. Michael also begs the question, going back to the previous segment, do bowls make money? Do the teams playing make money? If yes, then keep them. Well, you'd have to talk to bowl commissioners. I mean, why would you do anything if it doesn't make money, right? I mean, you don't form a bowl game or sponsor a bowl game if it loses money. So why would you continue to sponsor something?
Yeah, sure.
And put your name on something that's a product that nobody watches that loses money. Remember, Michael, the original intent of bowl games was to fill hotel rooms in vacation destination cities in a time of year when nobody was going to those cities because the weather's cold. It's the end of the year. Let's move down, Cole, now to the SEC. This is where there's a whole lot of volatility, and I don't think there's a chance that they finish 1, 2, 3 the way they are right now. Auburn, number 1 in the conference, 11-1. Alabama, number 2 at 10-2. And Florida at number 3 at 10-3. Alabama has the tougher road because they play nothing but ranked teams down the stretch. Missouri, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Tennessee, that game's on the road, Florida, and Auburn. So get this, Alabama plays 1, 2, 6, 15, 17, and 21.
God,
that's
murderer's row, isn't
That's
it?
crazy.
Auburn's looking at theirs. Ole Miss, I mean, my gosh, everybody's ranked in the SEC, it feels like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Florida's road's not terrible. And, again, they're a really good team. I would say that Bama may drop 1 or 2 more. I mean, they could. And Bama's good. That was a really good game. Not much defense, but a really good game Saturday against Auburn, and it was at Alabama. They're a good team. I like Nate Oates a lot, but I don't know. I love Sears, not Sears, the power forward. I just don't know that they're going to be able to – that road, I don't know they're going to be able to go undefeated. Missouri, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Tennessee, Florida, that's tough, man.
Well, we end the season, Cole, with Auburn, Alabama. The game is going to be
at Auburn,
home game for Auburn.
That'd be fun.
So Alabama's going to have a tough task
tough,
there to win on the road at Auburn. But then again, App State beat Auburn last year. It's not really like it's that big a deal.
Oh, man.
Can
be done is what you're saying.
It can be done. But, if I was a bet man, I'd probably say Auburn stays where they are at 1. Florida probably jumps Alabama. Number 1, you got the head-to-head between Auburn and Alabama. Alabama also plays Florida.
And where's
Florida
that
hasn't
game?
lost since February 1st when they got beat by 20 at home by Tennessee. I think this Florida team is also real focused. They got their coach back in good standing. All the charges were dropped, or the investigation was ended, and they haven't lost in almost a month.
Just to show people how different the SEC and ACC is now, and I don't know that 10 years ago anybody would have seen this coming, but you talk about 15, 17, 21, 6, 2, and 1. Those are the rankings of the teams that Alabama has left. I mean, there's no way. I would bet a lot of money. There's no way Bama wins out. They're really, really good.
No.
But that's 6 teams. That's a gauntlet is what that is. I agree with you. I think
6
Florida
games. What are you thinking? 4-2, 5-1.
I think 4-2 would be
4-2
at best.
You tell me Nate Oates wouldn't be thrilled to go 4-2 down the stretch. I mean, he knows that he's going to have a high-seeded team in the SEC tournament. He knows that his team is a lock to get into the NCAA tournament. At this point, it's all gravy for Nate Oates.
They had a 7-game win streak, and then they also had a 8-game win streak. So they're in. I mean, they manhandled North Carolina and out of conference game back in December. They've got some quality wins, man. And I know that that they may lose 2 or 3 more, but they do have some quality wins. And I think the Texas win was probably the most impressive of the year for Alabama. But we'll just see. We'll see what you're made of. I mean, that is a brutal stretch.
Cole, if you look at the Southern Conference, there's a logjam at the top. You got Chattanooga and UNCG sitting at 11-3, Samford sitting at 10-4. Furman would like to say something about this Samford game tonight. If Furman can get that win, that's certainly, Chattanooga and UNCG is begging for Furman to get that win and push Samford a little farther down the line there. Furman not in contention to crawl back into this thing. In the Sun Belt, Cole, you've got 4 teams sitting at 10-4 at the top of that conference right now. I know they got some tiebreakers, and I hadn't even begun to look and see where these teams are in their tiebreakers, but Arkansas State, South Alabama, Troy, and James Madison all sitting at 10-4. App State sitting at 9-5. It feels like that conference is, maybe has the most parity in college basketball. It's not to say it's the best brand of college basketball. There's just a lot of parity there.
There is a lot of parity, and the SoCon, even though it's log jammed, anything can happen in Asheville, man. Like, you just get a team that gets hot, goes on a run. That tournament's going to be a lot of fun.
Isn't that their tourism slogan? Anything can happen in Asheville?
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah. Are you being serious? Or are you just,
it could be.
Could be. God, it's terrible. I'll tell you what's not terrible. Coming up next, Williams Brice, for you Gamecock fans out there, getting a facelift. We have audio from the head of athletics talking about that. Also, I have a South Carolina Gamecock question that's not a good question either, and we'll also tell you how you can win a trip to Las Vegas. That is all next right here on the Fan Upstate.
sports takes at the door. Call in if you're man
Hot and fun.
844 Fan Phone. This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Gamecock fans, I do not intend to be Debbie Downer here, but I have a question, Diesel, when it comes to South Carolina. I was driving here today, and I had this thought pop in my head, and I don't know if this has ever happened. Maybe it has. Maybe it's happened like 20 times, but I would like to know. We need a master statistician, history buff to find this out for us. But South Carolina men's basketball, we've talked about it. They're 0-, like 0-, 12, 13 now.
I think they're owing their fans an apology for the way they played this year.
Do you think South Carolina baseball will win a conference game before South Carolina men's basketball wins a conference game? So South Carolina baseball, the first conference game is on March 14th, which is a little bit less than a month from today, right? They open with Oklahoma. That one's at home. So if South Carolina baseball were to win a conference game before South Carolina basketball, that would mean South Carolina basketball would have to lose out because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games remaining, and those are against Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, Georgia, and Tennessee. So, Diesel, I ask you and the Tolos, who wins an SEC game first, the basketball team or the baseball team?
Probably the baseball team. I'm going to be real with you because, that's a tough slate. Georgia isn't elite. But Arkansas is pretty good. Even though they're not ranked, they're still pretty good.
I want to know if that's ever happened. If the baseball team in the same calendar year, and again, it's going to take a lot of research. It would take years and years of research. But has the men's baseball team, ever won a conference game in the same calendar year before the basketball team did? And it's a different sport. It's a different season. One's winter and one's spring. That's embarrassing.
So, Cole, I don't know if this has happened since then, but I'm putting this out there. This is thanks to the great people over at Reddit. In 2018-2019, Vanderbilt became the first SEC team to go winless in conference play since World War II.
That was Vandy?
It was Vandy.
Of course it was,
2018-19. South Carolina, that is not company that you want to keep. That is not, I don't know if it's happened since then. It's unlikely that it's happened since then, but come on, you don't.
Wow.
That is not those are not
That's
good
tough, man.
bedfellows right
and
there.
then the last thing before we run, here's some audio regarding South Carolina's stadium renovations at Williams Brice Stadium. This was tweeted out by Gamecocks Online. Jeremiah Donati, the new athletic director, giving some updates on what Williams Brice Stadium will look like.
One of the things you talked about improving, one of the big things when you first got here, of course, is Williams Brice Stadium. Yeah. I guess give us an update on that, of your vision and I guess the next steps.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's actually perfect place to talk about it right here as this is the backdrop. But, we've made some really good progress, I think, in the last few weeks. You saw the news just that, we've got approval to start with.
We're clear. 2 minutes on this.
Design, the process. We brought on a group called Populous, which if you're listening at home, I would encourage our fans to look them up. They've done some really cool projects around the country that I've seen firsthand. They are, in my opinion, the gold standard. And so if we're going to do this project, let's do it well. And let's get the best. And so that's going to be a consistent theme with other partners we potentially bring in. We want the best. Our fans deserve it. Our players deserve it. And so to really kind of unlock the potential of the stadium, we really need someone to be thinking about it. Not because it's interesting, right? When you're talking about a stadium project like this, yes, we need to generate more revenue from it. That's kind of an easy one. But the key is preserving the history and traditions that are so unique to Williams Brice Stadium, and also, developing more. And so you've got the best stadium projects, I think, aren't a total redo. They capture those things and build from it. So obviously the west side is going to be, I don't want to call it the easier of it, but we kind of know what the appetite looks like for suites and club seats and loge boxes. And so the key is, how does the east side fit into that, in the short term and the long term, and then what's beyond the east side? We talked about that multi-use entertainment district. Is there a way you can kind of bring all that together and have it be one vision? We will look back on this, and this is really a transformational project. And I think if we do it well, all three things can be true. We can execute the west side well, and maybe even this end zone space. I know this is where the students sit, and it could use some love too. And so we'll kind of see. But I think there's a way that all 3 or 4 of those things could kind of be true. So it's the old saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And so we've taken the first few steps, and we're well on our way.
Facelifts coming soon for Williams Brice Stadium. Should be exciting times as we wrap up hour number 1.
I hate it when ADs say we're going to put in luxury boxes, and that's what's going to fix our stadium. No, it's not. It just means you can charge a select group of fans more money to go sit in a luxury box, which, by the way, I would hate sitting in a luxury box. I mean, I would love being there drinking somebody else's alcohol and eating someone else's food and having a good time there, Cole, but it neuters the experience of being in a stadium, being in a big-time atmosphere. This is smoke and mirrors. This is, hey, guys, we're going to take away certain seating. We're people who are used to buying seats in these sections. You're not going to be able to do it anymore because we're going to turn it into loge boxes or luxury boxes. Now, the entertainment complex outside, that's an interesting concept because, Cole, you and I both know the area around Williams Brice Stadium ain't nice. You're basically in some fairgrounds, and you're a stone's throw away from the interstate. So having an opportunity for fans to come and hang out in a venue purpose-built to get them to spend more money and hang out at the games, get there early and stay late, I think that's a great idea for South Carolina Gamecocks football. I'm really interested to see how that goes. On the other side of the break, Cole, we are sitting – at an Ingles Market, a fantastic store where they have delicious ice cream treats down the line. I want to ask you, and I want to ask the Tolos, which major restaurant chain has the best ice cream? And we're going to rank them. That's coming up next on the Fan Upstate.
update.
Cole, you neglected to tell our audience that they could win a trip to Las Vegas,
Vegas,
a slam
baby.
dunk in Vegas with the Fan Upstate.
We ran
Just
out of time.
Download the free Odyssey app, log in, and listen to the Fan Upstate for an hour a day. That's all it takes. You could start right now, and by 5 o'clock, have your entry in for the day. One lucky winner in this national contest is going to score a round-trip airfare and accommodations for 4 in Las Vegas, plus $20,000. That means if the 4 of us sitting right here were going to Vegas, I would get $5K, Cole would get $5K, Brian would get $10K, and Evan would get nothing because he's too busy. I don't know. But anyway, that's what you could win, a trip to Vegas and $20,000 for you and 3 of your friends. You'll get to enjoy the first 2 rounds of the college basketball championships. Stay at the Circa Resort and Casino Las Vegas, premium sports viewing destination, and visit the biggest March hoops party at Stadium Swim. Brian, have you ever looked up Stadium Swim? As we've been talking about this contest, have you looked it up? It think like an amphitheater, but it's swimming pools. And you're staring at a huge TV. So you're in a swimming pool with beautiful ladies, bunch of models running around. Evan's going to be there. But ignore that.
See the model?
And then the big screen TV. You get to hang out for the first 2 rounds of the college basketball championships. Start listening right now on the free Odyssey app. You can sign in with your Facebook, with your Gmail, whatever, and you can jump right in. Listen for an hour, and you'll be entered in to win this contest. You can enter every single day just by doing what you're already doing, which is Toloing.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
Leave it on. And by the way, real quick side note, I did tweet that out because I do want to know. I might have to contact like an expert on this, but I did ask the question on Twitter to the Gamecock audience whether or not South Carolina baseball has ever won a conference game before basketball in the same. I said calendar year earlier. I misspoke. I meant school year. So I tweeted it out. I don't know if it's ever happened. Maybe it has like 100 times, and I'm an idiot. But I want to find the answer because that just seems historic to me, not in a good way.
JD says the baseball team will get their conference win first. He says, I swear I was kidding yesterday on Overreaction Monday when I said the Gamecocks basketball team wouldn't win a conference game. Reverse psychology didn't work. Yeah, they had a chance against LSU, but
it wouldn't.
In the second half, they didn't get any closer than 9 points. So it really wasn't a close game. They seemed like they had a little bit of momentum going, and they turned the ball over a couple times. LSU went on a run, and that game was over.
I think they've given up.
So, Cole, you and I spent some time before the show started talking about the types of foods that you like to eat, that you will eat, and foods that you won't eat. You won't eat sushi. You won't eat Thai food. Do you like ice cream? Can I interest you in something as American as ice cream?
And I'll eat sushi as long as it's cooked. But I know that kind of defeats the purpose.
That's not sushi.
Well, they serve it. It's called California roll, right?
But it's not sushi.
Oh.
If it's not raw,
but of
it's
course,
not sushi.
I like ice cream.
Okay.
Who doesn't like ice cream?
Well,
right?
Good news is, Cole, you if you are a fan of one particular chain of restaurants, you can go out there and buy a Dairy Queen Blizzard machine because Dairy Queen is shutting down 25 of their stores in Texas, and they're auctioning everything off. You could have delicious Dairy Queen on tap anytime you want it, except for the fact that you're not getting actual Dairy Queen ice cream. You have to learn how to make it yourself. But you would have the machine to do it. And good news is, Cole, if it's at your house, the machine always works. You go to a McDonald's, and McFlurry machine never works. So, Cole, what is your favorite fast food ice cream? You know, because you got to think the options out there like McDonald's and Dairy Queen, Cookout's got ice cream, Wendy's has got ice cream, Chick-fil-A has got ice cream.
Chick-fil-A has good ice cream.
What is the best fast food ice cream?
You know what? I think that when it comes to soft serve, I know soft serve's like very basic, so most people wouldn't say it, but Chick-fil-A has like really good ice cream. I think.
Are you talking about the cones?
Yeah, the cones are good, man. They're good.
They're good.
There's something about them. I mean,
but they're not as good as their milkshakes, though.
Oh, the milkshakes are fantastic. Milkshakes are good. You know what? Brian Pettit brought this up during the break, and I might have to agree with him. I don't know, and you can change my mind, Dees, on the Tolos as well, but does anything top a Frosty from Wendy's?
Frosties are so basic, though.
Chocolate Frosty?
They're basic
so good,
as could be.
They're basic.
Wait, didn't they stop making the chocolate Frosty for like a year?
I don't know.
Like last year, didn't they stop doing that?
I don't
They
think so.
discontinued. Like you could only get the vanilla Frosty. You couldn't get the chocolate
I
Frosty.
eat at
Or it
least
was
one a
the other
year.
way around.
Maybe it was I eat at least one Wendy's Frosty.
When was the last time I had a Wendy's
and
Frosty?
think about it. You got to dip the fries in it, right? You can't order a Frosty.
What?
Brian, am I right or wrong?
How does that? So
Look,
Cole,
look.
you won't eat a nice, fresh as it gets slice of fish, but you'll dunk a
Everybody
salty,
does that.
deep fried French fry into a pool of chocolate milk.
Yeah, everybody does. Look, Kane just said it. Everybody does that.
I've never done.
Well,
that.
you're the
Not
only one
once
that
in my
does.
life.
You're the only one. Everybody dips their
I've never
fries
done
in the Wendy's. Kane just said it. Evan, Brian, everybody did.
So-
You can't order a Frosty without fries.
First of all, I don't think I've been to a Wendy's in probably at least 3 years.
That's a long
It's been a
time.
long time since I've been to a Wendy's. Maybe I went to a Wendy's for breakfast once when they first came out with their new like honey chicken biscuit thing. I tried it out,
Never
but I
had
haven't
it.
been to a Wendy's for lunch or dinner in years.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't get the Frosties, so I can't dunk the fries
So good.
into the Frosty.
Oh my gosh,
Kane says it's delicious. Look,
so good.
Kane, if there's a Wendy's on the way home,
You need to try it.
I can promise you
You gotta
I
try
will
it.
pull
It's
over
so
and get a
good.
Frosty and a small fry, and I will give you a taste test
Yes.
of my recommendation,
Yes,
my
it's
thoughts
amazing.
tomorrow. Tolos 844 fan phone 844-326-3663. Who's got the best fast food ice cream? And yes, milkshakes do count. Michael says
reading-
you got to dip your fries in the Frosties too.
Thank you, Mike. I was reading why those 25 locations were closing down. Evidently, there was a lawsuit. They were supposed to remodel the restaurants. They didn't. So the I don't want to say lien holder, but whoever, the partner, the other party, Diesel, they said, hey, if you're not going to remodel, you got to close the doors. So I like that. I think that's only it's Project Lone Star, by the way. They were the buyer.
So are you trying to tell me that a Wendy's Frosty, as basic and unchanged as the Wendy's Frosty has been for like 30 years, my entire life, the Frosty is exactly the same. You're telling me that's better than a DQ Blizzard?
You know what?
Maybe
Maybe not, but let me tell you this. I have not had a Dairy Queen Blizzard in like forever. So
they also flip them upside down to prove that like this is thick ice cream.
No, they might be better. I just hadn't had one in so long, man. And they sell them right here. Look right there in Ingles. In the corner cafe, they have milkshakes and smoothies. You know how that works? You make your own milkshake.
How am I just now seeing this for the first?
Yeah, you put
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, it's been there the whole time.
Oh my God,
You
Tolos!
put your,
I'm gonna show the Tolos this so they can see what we're talking about.
Walk over there with your phone and make
there,
a milkshake on the air. Diesel.
Over there, that blue thing, that is a milkshake machine.
Yeah, you
at
make
Ingles?
it yourself. You do it.
What?
You never done it before?
No.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. Every Ingles has one.
Why would you ever shop anywhere else?
I'm telling you, it's
you
the
come
best.
in here, you get like some of like the bougie grocery stores let you drink while you're walking around, but like having a milkshake while you're walking around is way better.
You should. You need to try it. Yeah. You
can
do it all.
Let's see. Kane says, I recommend watching the scene in Mr. Deeds where they talk about Frosties. I don't know that.
I don't know
scene
that
in
either.
I've seen Mr. Deeds. It's been a while. Let's see. Are those better, Cole, than the McDonald's McFlurry? The 60% of the time you can go to a McDonald's and actually get a McFlurry.
Yeah. You said 60%?
60%.
That's high.
40% of the time the machine's broken. I genuinely believe the machine's totally fine. They don't want to
clean it.
They don't want to clean it.
Yeah. You have
lazy.
to clean them. Somebody told me one time you have to clean them every certain amount of days in order for them to
days.
Yeah.
Wait, so they can run it for like 4 or 5 days without cleaning it?
I think so. Yeah.
That's gross.
Well, it's just McDonald's.
Touche.
No, let's see on the text line. Michael says Diesel's milkshakes bring all the Tolos to the yard. Great text, Michael. That's great. Tolo Yardbird. Frosty with the fries for the win. Thank you, Tolo Yardbird. Texter says from the 907, Culver's Mixers. I don't know what that is.
Culver. Ever been to a Culver's?
So we're getting one in Bowling Springs.
There's one down the road from the radio station.
There's one in Duncan that I pass a lot to. It's a burger place.
Yeah.
No, I've never been there.
Oh, it's good.
Well, it's
good.
I've never been to a Culver's.
Butter burgers, and if you're so inclined, instead of French fries, which they have like the thick crinkle cut French fries, you can get cheese curds, which is like tiny little mozzarella balls.
I love that. I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat in the summertime hard to beat a peach milkshake from Chick-fil-A, too.
It's the best.
Peach milkshake's good, man.
With a little bit of schnapps in it.
It's good. Corn Chip says Quick Trip Kitchen was always a good cheap option. Yeah, they do have it. Look, you ever had bad ice cream? I mean, who has, really? Tell me.
I have.
Where?
This past weekend when we were up in Beach Mountain. Actually, we were in Boone. We're staying at this hotel, and they have one of those little commissaries right there by the front desk.
Yeah.
You walk in, you can get like basics, bags of chips and candy bars and things like that. And they had ice cream. They had a cooler with ice cream in it. There's a small cup, and you peel the little paper off of it. Like it's kind of like the ice cream you would get at elementary school in the cafeteria. Peeled it off. I closed my eyes. I couldn't tell which one was chocolate and which one was strawberry.
No way.
There was no flavor in either one of these, and it didn't taste good regardless. Like it wasn't even like over sweet, and you couldn't taste the chocolate or the strawberry. There was just no flavor.
T Swizzle says, okay, this is a good debate right here because I'm glad T Swizzle brought this up. He says Super Chicks, chicken and custard. This is right near where I live.
What is Super Chicks?
It's a restaurant. It's new. It's a really good chicken place. Really, really good. I guess so. It's the first one. There's one in Bowling Springs, and I live like on the road behind it. And I've never heard of it until it moved here. Now, they sell custard. I have never in my life, true story, have never had custard. I don't know what the difference is. It just sounds nasty to me. Brian Pettit, have you had custard? No?
Custard is a cooked mixture of eggs, milk,
gross.
Sugar, and flavorings.
That just sounds gross. Have
like
you had it?
That's almost exactly what's in ice cream.
So it's put in there, what is the difference between custard and ice cream? Because I don't know. I mean, I know there is one, but it's something to do with how it's made. I don't know.
Custard contains egg yolks, while ice cream does not.
Oh.
So it's just richer. It's got more flavor. It's got more texture. Yeah.
So custard has egg yolks. That's the only difference?
Pretty much.
I don't want to eat egg yolks in my ice cream. I don't.
So it's all contextual for you?
Yeah,
like
I think
you'll
so.
eat egg yolks when you're having it with bacon and a
I
biscuit.
had eggs today, but I won't eat it with ice. It just sounds weird in ice cream, doesn't it? Imagine sitting there licking your delicious ice cream thinking.
I mean, to be fair, the egg yolks aren't cooked because it's in ice cream.
It just still sounds bad. Michael
God.
says, old school Hardee's peach milkshakes. Never had that.
Oh, you're talking old school Hardee's, like when you would go in and they had the cracked up terracotta floors? Like that old school Hardee's,
God.
like way back when they were originally a chicken joint, and then they tried to be a burger joint, and that failed, and they tried to go back to chicken.
Bobby
and that
says,
failed. They tried to go back to burgers.
Bobby says you can't beat the sweet and salty, talking about the fries. He also says custard is amazing.
Yep.
Texter says Abbott's and Greer beats everyone. Frozen custard wins every time. So it's better. And there's another one. There's a chain that's popping up. We have one too, custard chain.
So all your life, Cole, you could be eating substandard frozen treats and not knowing that custard was out there. And you would never have it if we hadn't had this conversation today.
I still don't know if I want to try it or not.
Oh my God.
I still don't know. I'm scared.
You know what? We're gonna find it. We're gonna pin you down, strap you to a chair, feed you a raw piece of sushi and a spoonful of custard, and you're gonna love it.
Put
and
a
you're gonna thank us
shotgun
for it.
barrel in my mouth while you're at it.
Jeez, okay, Kurt Cobain.
That sounds terrible. That Texter says Andy's. Yeah, Texter, thank you for that. Andy's is a popular custard chain. Have you seen them?
No, I haven't.
It's kind of like old school.
You guys got the good stuff up there in Spartanburg County.
No, Highway 9 just has everything now.
Oh.
Literally everything. Name something and it's on Highway 9. No joke.
Sushi?
It's on Highway 9.
Okay.
Yeah. It really, everything. You can't not name.
You got a hot pot?
What is that?
It's like an Asian restaurant where they bring. It's basically like boiling. Soup.
Now look,
it's like essentially it's like boiling soup, and then you put your veggies and your meat in it, and it cooks it.
We're not bougie.
And it cooks
in
it while
Springs,
you're
Diesel.
Well, you said it.
That'd be Woodruff Road. That'd be a Woodruff Road, Greenville. Y'all bougie, peddling, Greenville peeps.
Don't knock it till you try it.
It sounds good. I mean, I'll try it. I thought you were talking about what's the place where you cook your own food at first? Melting pot.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like
same
that.
thing.
Yeah, it's basically that.
How about that?
But hot pot is like it's a soup, and you just put it in there, and it slowly cooks it, and then you eat it.
Do you think, Diesel? Do you think you could learn how to do that in 5 minutes?
Yeah. Are you buying?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah. All right. So there's a link on your phone. See if you can do it. That's the StreamYard link on air. Diesel, take us with you. Take us with you to Ingles Market's milkshake and smooth. You walk in Ingles to the right, corner cafe. You can't beat it with a stick. You can make your own smoothie, make your own milkshake. Brian Pettit, have you ever done that? You have? Is it hard? Pretty easy?
I tell you what, why don't we save this since we do have a guest coming up in the next segment.
We'll do it in the 5 o'clock
Peter
hour.
Flaherty from Baseball America. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock
So
segment.
what do we settle, though? I mean, who's the best?
Who's the best? Well, yeah, I guess it's because so many people, like, they had a Frosty when they were 5.
Yeah.
And so they're stuck on it.
True.
There are better things out there. I'm telling you, Frosty's not bad when it's all you got. But you can't beat the peach milkshake at Chick-fil-A.
It's hard to beat.
That might be number 1 in my mind. And then the McDonald's McFlurry is probably 2. I think cookout shakes are underrated too. I think cookout crushes it with the shakes.
No. I love cookout shakes. I'm with you there. One more. Have you ever had a Shamrock Shake from McDonald's?
I have never gotten the Shamrock Shake. Does it come with whiskey, or you have to bring your own?
No, you bring your own. What is it? What the right now? Is it what's the holiday coming up? St. Patrick's Day.
It's a mint flavored milkshake.
Mint. You like
I don't like mint. No, I don't like milk.
If you don't like mint, you won't like it. It's mint flavored. It's really good. Your breath smells good. You eat ice cream. It's a win-win. I mean, really, it is. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they say at least. All right, we will take a break. Diesel, you teased it. We'll talk a little college baseball in the very next segment. Peter Flaherty III, he's with Baseball America, national college baseball writer, joins the show next. upstate. Let us know at 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-326-3663. But we go to the phone lines where we are joined by Peter Flaherty III, Baseball America National College Baseball writer. And Peter, we talk storylines when it comes to Major League Baseball, college football, NFL, whatever it may be. Storylines are always what leads. So that is what I will start when it comes to the the college baseball season that has already started, that begun last weekend. Which storylines in college baseball interest Peter Flaherty III the most?
Well, first, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. Fired up to have finally seen some live baseball after a long off season. And as far as storylines go, I think there's nothing more interesting than the coaching change down in Texas with David Pierce being dismissed and Coach Schlossnagle going from Texas A&M over to Texas. I think that's created quite the storyline and has added a lot of fuel to what's already a pretty impressive rivalry. And then you look around the sport in general. Coach Maneri coming out of retirement and taking the reins at South Carolina. And I think those are the two main ones. And then also in the state of South Carolina, Coach Schnall taking over for the legendary Coach Gilmore. I mean, we could go on and on, but as the season rolls along, there's going to be no shortage of action.
Peter Flaherty III joins us here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson, writes for Baseball America. What were your thoughts initially, and have they changed on now schools being allowed to offer a full complement of scholarships? How will that change college baseball going forward? Are we ever going to see another Coastal Carolina win it all?
That's a great question. It's obviously big news, and it's going to affect the landscape of the sport and change around rosters and how coaches manage it and in that aspect of it. But I think, as always, great coaches and coaching staffs will adapt and adjust and do what it takes to put their program in the best spot. So I think that, of course, now in the age of NIL and in the scholarship news and other factors, it's obviously geared towards and probably more conducive to bigger programs, especially when talking about the NIL world. But, the Coastal Carolinas of the world and other quality programs that are not in quote unquote Power 4 conferences are still going to be extremely competitive and put in great spots to win because of the coaches bringing in high level talent and doing a great job of developing it.
Peter, we have seen thus far in the college basketball season, with only 5 or 6 games remaining, a huge imbalance between conferences. The ACC and college basketball used to reign supreme, not so much anymore. The SEC is showing up and showing out in 2025. They've been good for a while, but it seems like this year they're exceptionally good. When it comes to college baseball, do you see the 2025 season being the same picture, or do you think it might be a little different when it comes to conferences and balances?
Yeah, I mean, the SEC, at least in our first iteration of the top 25, it had 4 of the top 5 teams, and all top 4 teams were in the SEC. But I think that there's more conference representation and more parity in general, at least in college baseball, especially this year. I think Texas A&M came into this year as the consensus number 1 team, more or less, and they're an extremely talented club, but it's not to the kind of, if you recall in 2023 with LSU, it was really LSU and everyone else. That's not the case this year. I think that there are a number of teams who've legitimate national championship hopes and national championship aspirations. So I think the SEC and ACC are leading the way, but you also look at the Big 12, and you have teams like TCU in there, Arizona State, Arizona, quality clubs across the country, Oregon in the Big 10, Michigan in the Big 10, UC Irvine and Santa Barbara in the Big West, Oregon State, which is now an independent. I mean, you could look to all 4 corners in all regions of the country, Dallas Baptist in the Conference USA. So I think that there's a much wider range of conferences that's represented in college baseball, which is part of the beauty of the sport.
Peter, who do you like as your sleeper or sleepers? Like, a program that, was pretty good last year, did a fantastic job at retaining the talent that they already had and maybe adding a piece or two in the portal to complement. Who is going to be that team that kind of comes from a little bit behind, middle of the rankings or lower end of the rankings and make some noise, maybe even reach Omaha?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I went through it a little bit before the season and came up with 8 to 10 Omaha sleepers on paper. I think that a handful stand out, and just bouncing them off real quick. I think from the Sun Belt, Troy and Southern Miss are two really quality teams. Coach Meade does an excellent job over at down at Troy, and Southern Miss has long had a quality program. Southern Miss's arm talent really stands out. So, I think if they can hit a little bit, drive the baseball and make up and supplement its really deep pitching staff, they're going to be well equipped for a run into June. Troy can really, really swing it. It's a little bit of not the antithesis of Southern Miss, but they can really, really swing it. But if they can consistently win 27 outs on the mound, that's going to put them in a great spot. And then two of the teams that I just mentioned, UC Irvine and UC Santa Barbara. UC Santa Barbara especially, they've got one of the more formidable rotations on the West Coast. It's led by potential top 10 pick and National Pitcher of the Year candidate Tyler Bremner. And then right behind him is a potential top 2 round pick in 2026 in Jackson, Florida. They've got a deep bullpen. Their biggest Achilles heel, they've always been able to really, really pitch, but their biggest Achilles heel has been hitting enough or not hitting enough, and that's done them in June. So those are a handful that stick out. UC Irvine as well. And then it feels weird to say because they've been to Omaha in 3 of the last 4 seasons, including 3 straight from 21 to 23. But I think Stanford's got a chance to get back there again and regain its early 2020s form. They had a lot of inexperience last year. They were young, and now they're not so young. They've got a 3-headed monster in the starting rotation. They retain a ton of its production from last year's lineup. They obviously added Rintaro Sasaki from Japan. He had a strong opening weekend. So those are a handful. There are a lot of others that are going to be competing for a spot in the College World Series, I think.
A quick update for you Gamecock fans. South Carolina Queens underway. It is raining pretty hard on the ESPN Plus broadcast. Not many butts in the seats at Founders Park in Columbia, but South Carolina is up on Queens 1-0 right now. South Carolina in their second midweek this week, obviously played up in Rock Hill against Winthrop yesterday, and we're joined right now talking college baseball with Peter Flaherty III. He is a national college baseball writer for Baseball America. Peter, just a few moments ago, you mentioned Paul Mainieri coming out of retirement. From a national perspective, I'm intrigued and interested what the reaction was because obviously with us being in South Carolina, we cover South Carolina baseball and Clemson to the extreme. But from the national standpoint of people across the country that follow and cover college baseball, what was their reaction to Paul Mainieri coming out of retirement and a very successful tenure at LSU to come to Columbia and coach baseball one more time?
Yeah, I'd say surprised, but in a really positive way. I think having him involved in the game and in a head coaching role is only beneficial to it, and it certainly sent shockwaves, I'd say, through the college baseball world and on a national level. When that move was announced, and this was already in the midst of a pretty hectic coaching cycle. So, he had, as you said, he had an outstanding tenure at LSU. He guided them to the 2009 national title, 5 College World Series appearances, 9 regional titles, 5 super regional titles, a handful of SEC championships. He fits the definition of a legend to a T. And especially where he was able to retain Coach Lee on his staff, bring in Coach Rooney. Not only is he an outstanding head coach, but the staff around him is going to be extremely beneficial, both in 2025 and going forward.
We are, just about 30, 45 minutes away from downtown Clemson, from being able to go see one of the young stars in the game, Cam Cannarella. What is it about Cam that really impresses you a lot? And, who do you expect individually wise to step up and really be stars for college baseball? Football has always done a really good job at promoting stars. We don't see a ton of that in college baseball. Maybe it's just because we got, so many more guys out there on the field. Who do you look at as stepping up and having a big time explosive year this year?
Yeah, I mean, Cam's an outstanding talent. He's a potential top 10 overall pick. He's got a really enticing set of tools that allows him to affect the game in a number of ways. He's a plus hitter with a really advanced feel for the barrel. He's a plus runner and has outstanding instincts and an advanced baseball sense in center field. He's got a really quick first step. It's a really enticing blend of tools and then also on the field makeup. He plays the game at one speed. He plays really, really hard. And as kind of the iteration goes, he's got a whole lot of dog in him. So watching him compete on a weekly basis is just a blast. And I think more so on an individual level, Jace Lavalette at Texas A&M is made a huge name for himself and fits the billing of a star. Jamie Arnold at Florida State on the mound is one of the top starting pitchers in college baseball, and over at Tennessee, Dean Curley. So I mean, I think the growth of the sport in general has been fantastic to see, especially in the last 3 to 5 seasons, and the growing interest and both in terms of fans of teams becoming more passionate about whoever they root for, and then also even just on an individual level, fans becoming more passionate about individual players or the MLB draft.
Peter, you mentioned A&M and that last answer that you gave. We know how the college baseball season ended a year ago between A&M and Tennessee, and Tony Vitello and Tennessee getting it done, getting that national championship, and what a turnaround it was for Tennessee. They're ranked 4 in a lot of polls right now. In your mind, from what you've seen, I mean, there's a lot of parity in college baseball, man. But, the back-to-backs, it doesn't happen often, but it's spectacular when it does. Does Tennessee, in your opinion, have a chance to do just that and go back-to-back?
Yeah, I'd say the short answer is, well, it's extremely difficult and seldom actually happens in the end. I think that they've absolutely got the talent and personnel group to do exactly that. They haven't exactly faced world beaters in their first 4 games. They had a weekend series against Hofstra and then a midweek yesterday against UNC Asheville, but they have not been playing with their food. They've outscored those in their 4 games. They've outscored their opponents by a combined margin, I believe, of 75-6. They have as deep of a lineup, I think, as anyone, not only in the SEC, but also in college baseball. It's a very, I'd say, appealing blend of newcomers with freshmen and impact transfers as well as returners. So, I mean, on the transfer side with guys like Gavin Keelan and Andrew Fisher, they're a little bit of a different player in the sense that Fisher is this power over hit guy. Keelan's this hit over power. I think they play off each other really well. Dean Curley is this blend of an above average hit tool and plus power to the pull side. And then you look on the mound, Liam Doyle looks the part of that future Friday night ace in the sense that you could feel really, really confident in giving him the ball and saying, hey, go get us a win and give us 5 to 6 or 7 really good innings. And then we haven't even seen, and then Nate Snead as well, stepping into that starting role. Really impressive arm. I'm curious to see how he does. So, I mean, they have depth on both sides of the baseball. Coach Vitello is an outstanding coach. He's got a great staff with Coach Anderson, the pitching coach. And then Coach Elander, the hitting coach. It's just a very impressive operation across all facets.
Peter Flaherty, Baseball America, joins us here on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Brice. And my last question for you, Peter, I've talked a lot on this station over the past 6 months about what I call the SEC-ification of college baseball. The stadiums are growing, the crowds are growing, they're getting rowdier, and it can only help the sport and grow the sport. I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to it just because the environment is more infectious. I'm going to ask you kind of an existential question for you, because this is what you do for a living. In your mind, what makes college baseball so much better than professional?
I mean, you hit on it. I think the passion, whether it be on the field or from respective colleges and universities' fan bases, is unmatched. I love the rowdiness of it. I love seeing guys get after it on the field and get really into it. So I think the overarching theme there is just a massive influx and passion, which I think, that's drawn so many people to the sport. As you said, it's why it's continuing to grow. Big time investments are being made into a number of programs across the country, and that's only going to continue to grow and attract more fans and attract more eyes to the game. So I think that it's gotten a ton of positive attention, and the momentum it has right now is really impressive to watch. And I'm incredibly lucky to be able to be on this side of things and covering it during what I think and many people think is its golden age.
Peter, before we let you go, first time joining us right here on the Fan Upstate, where are you from? Would you play college baseball? How'd you get into it?
I wish I played college baseball. I'm from Boston, Mass. I played all the way through high school, was not good enough to play in college, but I obviously wanted to stay involved as best I could. So I was fortunate enough to have a couple of internships in the baseball world, working scouting prior to being hired at Baseball America, and have kind of gone from there.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us. Fantastic stuff, and let's do it again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Absolutely. Peter Flaherty, the third of Baseball America. And, Diesel, we talked about it. It'd be interesting to see. It's rarely done in college baseball going back-to-back. I don't know if Tony Vitello in Tennessee can do it. They're as loaded as anybody. It's only happened 6 times in the history of the sport. And do you know who the last team was to go back-to-back? Anybody? South Carolina, 2010, 2011. That was the last time a team has gone back-to-back in World Series. And, again, I think it's only happened like 6 times. The year before, South Carolina went back-to-back. LSU won the championship. Know who the coach was at LSU then? Paul Maneri. So it's interesting. It doesn't happen much, though. A lot of parity in college baseball.
I don't know if we're going to have a back-to-back champion, Cole, but you know what I do count on back-to-back? Breaking the record of the number of Jell-O shots sold at Rocco's.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep doing it. Okay, I mean, I know how they keep doing it. They keep having rich donors call in from SEC programs saying, I'm going to buy 10,000 shots. Nobody's consuming those. I wonder if they even make them or if it's just considered a charitable donation. Do you consider those to be legitimate shots purchased, Cole? Like you're aware of this contest, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every
100%.
year Rocco's does their Jell-O shot contest.
I mean, they're purchased.
They're purchased, but does it count if nobody actually makes them or consumes them?
I know.
What are they doing? Making Jell-O shots just to throw them in the garbage?
Or just purchasing them as a donation and not even making them,
Right. Well, that shouldn't count.
It shouldn't count, but if you go and buy purchased, I guess it is, man. But it really good stuff there by Peter. Appreciate him hopping on with us.
Fantastic guest, and hopefully we'll have a chance to bring him on again soon. When we come back, Cole, we'll take our whip around the sports world, see what else is happening out there with our Daily Wires.
The Rich Eisen Show. Tomorrow at noon, only on The Fan. 844.
All right, we are back.
This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
We appreciate our guest there, Peter Flaherty of Baseball America. You'll be able to check that interview out at the end of the hour. In about 13 minutes, again, you can find it on thefanupstate.com, also on the free Odyssey app. Cole, every day we get deep into the conversations on the show, right? Yeah. About college basketball races, about college baseball, about big-time changes coming to college football. But we can't always get to everything, Cole, and spend 15 minutes on every topic. So we smush them all down into one segment we call our Daily Wires. Here's the buzz happening around the sports world, Cole. This is wild. Shedeur Sanders maybe has tipped his cap on his preference for who would draft him in the NFL, revealing that he only likes to play Madden as the Cleveland Browns. Well, my question is revealing this information brilliant or stupid?
I don't know if Shedeur's watched the draft before, but that's not how this thing works. Yeah. You know, you're not drafting them. They're drafting you, buddy. And, hey, by all means, if Shedeur Sanders wants to go to Cleveland, Diesel, let him go.
Yeah, let him go.
I mean, Cleveland around.
Cleveland does have the number 2 overall pick, so
they'll go Cam
if the
Ward
Titans
1.
don't take him, if the Titans go Cam Ward, he's clearly going to go number 2 to the Cleveland Browns. I just wonder, Cole, like if as long as the offensive coordinator hasn't moved on, couldn't you use that to maybe get some insights in their system in advance? I mean, if Madden is that advanced and they're putting actual plays or concepts.
Yeah, but it's Cleveland.
It
doesn't matter.
I know. Plus, I mean, they won't even build themselves a new stadium up there. That's how sad the city of Cleveland is. South Carolina men's basketball still sitting 0 in SEC play, falling short at LSU 81-67. Continuing the adage, Cole, that they just can't keep it close on the road. They play great at home, not so much on the road. Jamari Thomas scored 23 points for South Carolina in their losing effort. LSU had 4 players in double figures, hit 13 threes. You are unlikely to win if you're giving up 39 points from behind the arc.
How's the bridge go? And another one down, and another one down, and another one. That's South Carolina's new theme song. And another one, and another loss, and another, and another.
They did cut it to 9 points with 13 and a half minutes to go. They gave up a couple of bad plays and turnovers and let LSU go on an 8-0 run, and it was basically over.
I think the season's basically over. Sorry, South Carolina. I mean, they've given up. Come on. LSU's second worst team. But, hey, the good thing is South Carolina last night solidified themselves as the worst team in the SEC.
Isn't it fascinating that LSU basketball, women's basketball, is really good, just like South Carolina women's basketball is really good, and their men's programs both suck?
Not good.
Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Like a lot of similarities between the two schools. South Carolina baseball scored all 5 of its runs yesterday, Cole, with 2 outs in their various innings against Winthrop. Kennedy Jones hit a first-inning home run out to left field. Brandon Stone picked up the win in relief, striking out 3 and allowing 1 hit in 3.2 innings. Brendan Sweeney gets the save with a scoreless 9th inning. Congratulations to the Gamecocks for starting off their season well.
And they're up right now 1-0.
1-0 on Queens.
Ethan Petrie, I believe, was at the plate and brought Nathan Hall home. So Ethan Petrie credited with an RBI, and Gamecocks leading Queens 1-0 in the pouring down rain.
Travis Kelce is engaging a little bit of retail therapy.
Huh? What? Engaged?
I didn't say that. Your words, not mine. To retail therapy to soothe his Super Bowl loss, reportedly buying Taylor Swift $140,000 worth of Valentine's gifts, including, Cole, 2 gold watches valued at around $115,000 combined, a $2,500 necklace, some dresses, and over $1,000 in flowers.
That's a little too much money spent on Valentine's.
Maybe he's a little insecure about the relationship. Like, please don't leave me, Taylor. I promise you I can buy you some nice things too. I know that's not as nice as what you can buy yourself because she's obviously way richer than Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
But that's
way richer.
Eagles GM Howie Roseman took a beer can to the forehead during the Eagles Super Bowl celebration. He was struck hard enough, Cole, to draw blood. He then took the mic, with a victory cigar in one hand and a Lombardi trophy in the other hand and shouted, "I bleed for this city."
Man.
And speaking of making money, he is trying to make money off of that exact phrase. He formed a company called Bleeding Bird LLC, has applied for and is trying to get a trademark for the phrase, "I bleed for this city." And he has a plan to develop a clothing line around the phrase.
Look, if you can make money off of it, that, more power to you.
Sure, buddy. I mean, hey, if a spontaneous phrase ends up making you $500,000 or more,
that's right. Do it.
Yeah, Cole. We need to start going through all the things that we say on the show and maybe try to trademark those things. And last one for you here, Cole. The Bears season ticket holders are going to have to pay a little bit more money next year. They're going to face a 10% price increase for the 2025 season. Team president Kevin Warren cited market dynamics and a strong home schedule as reasons for the price hike. They got a new coach in Ben Johnson. Obviously, the hopes there that Ben Johnson is going to win them a lot of football games next year. They got a decent home slate that includes the Steelers. I would say the Cowboys and the Steelers, but you can't even use the word Cowboys and decent in the same sentence. It's not right to do so. But they do have the Cowboys coming to town.
Coming up next, it is 5 o'clock, and it is Wednesday, which means it's time to fight it out. 3 rounds, 5 o'clock fight on the other side. Diesel and I go at it. You Tolos, decide who wins. That is next. Tolos, let us know where you are listening from as we roll into the 5 o'clock fight. It happens on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. You can text the show. Go ahead and save the number in your phone because you'll need it during this segment. 844-FAN-PHONE. That's FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. Let us know as we get this 5 o'clock fight started where you're listening from, what your name is. Also on the stream, we're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can watch the show 94. Tolo's in the stream right now. Brian Pettit came out and saw us earlier at Ingles Markets. That's where we are. 10903 Anderson, which is a city, Road in Piedmont, which is a city, but it's the Ingles in Powdersville, which is a city. Make that make sense, Diesel.
Well, it makes total sense. I mean, you live in Boiling Springs, but the store in Ingles that we go to there is the Springfield location.
It's weird. It's weird.
You know, it's
geography for you.
Yeah, well, it's little enclaves. You know, people don't want to be from Anderson. They want to be from Greenville. They don't want to be from Piedmont. They want to be from Powdersville.
Wesley Roberts on the Facebook stream says, I win. He's watching the stream from Puerto Rico. How about that? Wesley does some work out there.
Wesley, how's the weather in Puerto Rico? Because it is nasty here. It's even nastier down the road in Columbia where they are playing college baseball.
Terrible.
In 37 degrees and pouring down rain. Cole, I mean, you could probably take your shoes off and count the total number of fans in the stadium on your fingers.
Not many. There's not many at all.
Yeah,
they're really not.
Bad.
So that's tough. Tolos, let us know where you're listening from, what your name is, and get ready to interact because it is time for the 5 o'clock fight.
It's an all-out slugfest, and nobody's leaving unscathed. 3 topics, 1 winner. It's the 5 o'clock fight on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
If you're new to the show and this is your first time hearing the 5 o'clock fight, well, it's very simple. There are 3 rounds to this 5 o'clock fight. Diesel is to my right. We both disagree on every round. And Tolos, it's your job to let us know who wins and who loses each round. You can do so by texting 844-326-3663. That's the way you text in and interact with the show. Texter from the 502 says, watching from Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, here for a few days for work and wanted to listen in. Tolo from the 502, we love you. How about that? Puerto Rico and Hawaii.
Puerto Rico, tropical areas while the weather here sucks.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah,
but I hate both of you for being in far nicer locales than we're in right now.
So get ready, texters, 844-326-3663. Save the number. Get ready because it's time for round 1.
Round 1, fight.
Diesel, we have March Madness rapidly approaching. Just a few weeks away, you and I will be getting ready for the craziness that is March Madness. We all love it. But you know what? We live in the South. We also love our college football. I think we've asked this question a long time ago, but I bring it to the forefront again. It's a very simple question, Diesel. Do you prefer March Madness or, if you have to pick one, I know it's tough, opening weekend of college football? Which do you have to? Which do you choose if you have to pick between the two?
It's like I had twins, and you asked me which one I love the most.
You're right.
That's tough.
It is.
Cole, as much as I love college football, the answer is March Madness.
Really?
Opening round. You know why? Because everybody playing in these games are good basketball teams. Like, you know that these are quality teams. They've gone through a whole season together. They know how to play well together. They know how to win together. And that's why you see so many upsets because quality teams, even if they're playing at a smaller school in a smaller conference, can still play really good together basketball. As opposed to college football, if a big team loses, that's because they were unprepared. It's the first game of the season. You know, they're breaking in a new quarterback. They didn't really know what their rotations were going to be, this, that, and the other. A lot of teams get upset in college football because they're sloppy in week 1. Teams get upset in March Madness because everybody in the tournament is good. I'm going March Madness is better.
You know what? I love March Madness, but I will tell you, man, I love football. I love it. I just absolutely love it. And do I love other sports? Absolutely, I do. But does football have my heart like none other? Absolutely, it does. Diesel, I have to go 6 months. I have to go March. I have to go April, May, June, July, and August. That is 6 months, half of the year. I have to go without football.
But you got UFL.
Oh, I don't
you got
want
UFL
that.
coming up.
I don't want that. I don't want UFL.
Have you given it a try yet?
Yeah, I've watched it. Sucks. I don't want to watch it. I don't even like talking. I don't even like saying the three letters. College football, for me, it's just the excitement, the build-up, the anticipation. It's finally back. You sit at home that opening weekend and you turn your TV on and college game day's on and you can walk outside and feel the crispness in the air after a long, hot summer. College football is king. So the question, if I have to pick between the two, give me college football all day long. Tolos, very simple. Who wins round one? You decide, because we both disagree. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663, Diesel or myself. I'm Cole Bryson. He's Diesel to my right, and it's time for round two.
Round two, fight.
Diesel, you put this one on the rundown today, and we talked about this in the very first segment of the show. Will Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti get their way? And will they get 4 guaranteed bids each to the college football playoff? What do you say?
Well, they've tried this once, and it failed.
Yeah.
So now they've got the data of one college football playoff behind them. I think it's going to fail again, Cole. I think it's going to fail because they need the rest of college football to be involved in this thing. I think, they would love to be able to just take over everything in the sport. But at the end of the day, they have to start to realize that fans need to have confidence in the purity of the product that they're seeing on the field. And if people start to believe that the product is fake, that it's manufactured, that it's only there to put brands on TV, they're going to start losing some of those diehard fans. They're going to start losing some of the emotion behind it. So I think, the better angels, you have the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other shoulder. The devil's saying, do it, demand your 4 playoff spots. The angel on the other shoulder will say, you know what? Most years you're probably going to get your 4 anyway. Just let it play out. Don't push for 4 guaranteed spots.
Let it be, is what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? You know what? They say, Diesel, if you fail, well, try again. And if you fail again, try again. Do I want it to happen? Do I like it? Do I like the direction? We'll see. The jury's out. I don't know if I do. But I do think it happens because what did we talk about in the very first segment? He who has the gold will always come out on top, right? What was the line you gave was it from a movie?
It was from a movie. It was he who has the gold card makes the rules.
So I was close. He who has the gold card makes the rules. And with it being the Big Ten and the SEC, I think the commissioners of the other leagues are just going to hop in line and, yes, sir, whatever you say. Should they? No, but I have a feeling that it will happen. Four guarantees. Do I think it's right? Or 4 guaranteed bids, rather, do I think it's right? No, but I think it will happen. Tolos, who wins round 2? 844-326-3663. We'll do a recap in case you just tuned in. Also tell you how to win a trip to Las Vegas in about 5 minutes. But we have one more round.
Final round. Fight!
This one's very intriguing. Diesel, we are sitting right here at Ingles Markets at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. They have delicious pizza, right? I mean, literally right there.
Yep.
You could throw a water bottle and hit the fresh pizza that's sitting on the counter at Ingles Markets that you can get on your way home tonight. The question for round 3, though, is which is superior? School lunch pizza back in the day.
The rectangular pizza?
Rectangle ones. Sometimes you get lucky and get the big piece, or gas station pizza. This one, I will be honest with you, this one made me think.
This is hard.
This one's hard.
This is superiority versus nostalgia, right?
It is.
So
yes.
you've got gas station pizza, which they're not making on site. It's coming in frozen,
Oh,
but
don't tell me that.
in theory, it's superior pizza. Versus the school lunch pizza, you can all picture it in your head right now. You know that there's probably not even real cheese on it. As a matter of fact, remember how you could sometimes get the cheese would just peel right off the whole piece like it was a sheet of plastic.
That's amazing.
Cole, there's a promo running where I say I don't eat gas station food.
That's true.
And
yeah.
I can't go against my own words because somebody will call me out on it. I know we have Tolos who keep receipts and notebooks. The answer is school lunch pizza.
Ooh.
I know it's not the better pizza, but it's what I want.
It has
right?
a place in your heart.
It has a place in my heart. Think about how many times you probably ate that pizza.
Oh, gosh.
Growing up, that rectangular pizza with the cubed ham or the cubed pepperoni or sausage.
Or just cheese.
And there's just something about it that's just, it's comforting, It's old school. Give me the school lunch pizza.
You're right. It is part of your childhood growing up. Like, I don't know if it was always on the same day for you or not, right? On the same day as a Friday or what. Felt like Friday. I don't know if that's true or not, but it felt like it was always on the same day. And you were served the pizza. I don't know if you know this or not. When I graduated college, I taught for a year here in the upstate, media technology. And even as a teacher, I loved the cafeteria pizza. I love it. However, it's not as good as gas station pizza, and I'll tell you why. Gas station pizza has stepped up their game. We're not talking about some, Red Baron throwing it's good stuff. But have you had QT pizza?
I have had it.
Oh, my word.
I have had it.
It's as good. Look, you can say, you have favorites out there in terms of where you and the family like to go get pizza. But let's just call it like it is. QT has phenomenal pizza for it to come out of a gas station.
There are restaurants now, Cole, that are recreating school lunch pizza. Like, nobody's recreating gas station pizza. They're recreating school lunch pizza. It's, it's like everybody's got to have a theme, right?
Yeah.
So you got good restaurants making good school lunch pizza. That's better, man. It's just better. Everybody knows.
I do compare. If I had to make a comparison, I would compare like some frozen pizzas to a school lunch. The gas stations really, you don't really replicate them. It's
hard to do. I did
to
see a YouTube
replicate
video where a guy found the original recipe and recreated it using the exact ingredients, the exact methods, and he said it tastes exactly the same.
Wow. How about
exactly the same as it used to.
Michael gets in on the text line. Give me the rectangle pizza all day, every day lunch, lady. I'm telling you, it's good. You're right. It's good. It's like I said, it's part of your childhood, right? If you went to public school, if you actually went to school as a child and weren't homeschooled and, given things your whole life. Anyways, let me recap. We have 3 rounds. Round 1, if you just tuned in, 14 minutes late to 5 o'clock, 5, it's okay. Round 1 was March Madness, or opening weekend of college football. Diesel went March Madness. I went college football, of course. Round 2 was, will Greg Sankey and Tony Patini get their way and get 4 guaranteed bids to the playoff? Diesel said no. I said, yeah, I think it'll happen. And then round number 3, which is better, school lunch pizza or gas station pizza? Diesel said he's going with his heart, the old school pizza that he got growing up. I'm giving the credit to the gas stations out there. I'm going gas station pizza for round 3. While you Tolos get your votes in at 844-326-3663. If you want to suggest a 5 o'clock fight, here's how.
What do you want Diesel and Cole Bryson to fight about next?
If you've got an ass, I'll kick it.
Submit your topics to Diesel at thefanupstate.com. Subject line, fight on the Fan Upstate.
Wesley Roberts on the Facebook stream says if you put A1 on your steak, you don't get a vote here. So, I mean, he's just throwing shade out there to anybody who might use A1.
Wesley, you're wrong. I love A1 sauce.
You know what I had today?
A1 sauce.
I had sugar-free steak sauce.
What?
Yeah.
What
so
is
they
that?
make it. They sell it right here at Eagles, actually. I got it. So if you're trying to watch your sugar or you're, lose a little, fat off the old belly, they make sugar-free steak sauce, which is sold right here at Ingles, and it's not bad.
Diet steak sauce.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Diet steak
It's
sauce.
not bad. I didn't eat
this is interesting. Wesley Roberts caught himself in his own catch-22 sit here. He says if you put A1 on your steak, you don't get a vote here. But then he says Cole, Diesel. So he's going with me on round 3 about the school pizza.
He went with you. So Brian Pettit goes with me. So we're split on the stream. Brian Pettit says all rounds went to Cole. Brian Pettit. I did not slip him any money when he was here.
Are you sure? I saw a handshake.
No.
And it looked like there was a folded up 20.
Man. Texters continue on the text line right now. Who wins each round? 844-326-3663. Diesel, who's winning on the text line? Please say me.
Well, let's go down the line here. How about starting with Corn Chip? He says, I'll give Cole the win for rounds 1 and 3. Our school lunch pizza was just Little Caesars. So we had 2 options for school lunch pizza at my high school. Cole, you could go elementary school was just the same rectangle pizza, but you could go through the lunch line, and it never made sense. You got pizza and corn.
Ooh,
pizza, corn, and chocolate milk, right? Like no wonder our kids are learning so much in school.
Oh my word!
When you charge them up with pizza, corn,
chocolate, you're right though. It's true.
Yeah, you're just begging for them to have to get up and
go
to the bathroom in the 4th period. But we had the option, Cole, of I don't remember if it was Papa John's. I don't remember where it came from, but it was like better pizza by the slice. But you had to pay more. But you had to pay extra too. You had to pay more for it.
It was like a different line.
Yeah.
On Fridays.
Yeah. So instead of like, I'm just making this number up, like $2.50 to go through and get your lunch from the cafeteria, it was like $2.50 for a slice.
That's right.
And then you still had to buy a drink on top of it, so it made it more expensive.
Yeah. If you wanted to get the better pizza. We had tea back in the day. You could pay for tea. Yeah, we were bougie.
Yeah, you are. Let's see. Michael says, "Give me the rectangle pizza all day, every day, lunch lady." Let's see here. T Experience says 7-Eleven cheese pizza smashes QT pizza
really
any day of the week. See, this is how I know T Experience doesn't get a vote because he eats cheese pizza. He's a grown adult.
I like cheese.
I have not eaten a slice. The only time I'll ever eat a slice of just cheese pizza is when it's the only thing left. I would rather have Hawaiian pizza than cheese.
I like cheese. I like the red. Just
because you have the palate of
I do. I love it.
John Dogs going round 1 Cole, round 2 Cole, round 3 Cole. He says, Diesel, that was an embarrassing fight. When are y'all coming to Ingles in Landrum?
Oh, we need to. I've advocated for it. I've tried the one in Chesney. I advocate for that one. The one in Landrum. I've advocated for that.
We were just at the Ingles close to Landrum in Springfield.
No, it's not close to Landrum.
Is it not?
No.
Are you sure?
Mm-mm. No.
Are you sure?
20 minutes.
Well, okay. Here, John Dog, just to let you know, we're going to be at the Ingles in Greenville on Poinsett Highway
first time
in 2 weeks.
I pushed for that one.
And then on the 19th of March, we're going to be at the one in Boiling Springs again.
Asheville Highway
so,
again. Oh, wow.
Sorry, it's 20 minutes away from you if you want to come see us.
That's a long way. You got to get on 26, go all the way to dude. Hey, the Ingles in Landrum is nice, man. It's nice. I've advocated for the Tolos in Landrum. Who else?
That's true. I've heard him say it. Let's see here. Texter says Totino's Pizza is the closest thing you can find to an old school lunch pizza. Trust me, grab one at Ingles before you leave. So I've got a shopping list here. I got to get Totino's Pizza. I got to get one of those milkshakes, and then I gotta go to get a Frosty and French fries. I'm gonna come in here tomorrow weighing like 30 pounds.
Just go to the pizza. The Totino's, we talked about that the other day. It's the best. Like the red wrapper, I love it.
Let's see here. Lefty Tiger says round 1 goes to Cole, round 2 goes to Diesel, round 3 goes to Cole.
Lefty Tiger.
T Experience says I've been a vegetarian since 1990.
No way.
I don't trust vegetarians. No. Humanity climbed to the top of the food chain. It took us thousands of years to achieve that. I am not apologizing and giving it away. Not going to happen.
TX Experience has been a vegetarian since 1990.
Wow.
That is 30 years.
You learn, T Experience has been listening and texting in and calling into the show for a long, long time, and we're learning stuff about you. right now. Okay.
I will say,
let's just
I'm
go
a
ahead and block that number.
I'm a vegetarian.
No vegetarians on Wire.
No, I'm a vegetarian since lunchtime today.
Oh, yeah?
I hadn't had any meat since lunch.
Well, I had bacon for breakfast, and it was amazing.
I love it.
Amazing.
Texter says, be a man, put like 6 meaty toppings on your pizza and chug a beer, or you can have cheese pizza with your sippy cup. Is 6 too many, though?
Tolo on Tolo violence.
6 is too many.
Well, okay. How many? 6 meats. You'd have pepperoni, ham, bacon, sausage.
That's a lot.
What other kind of meat would you put on it? Like prosciutto? Prosciutto.
My normal pizza order doesn't even have meat.
What other? That's 5. I got 5 right there.
Did you say ham?
I did say ham. I mean Canadian bacon, but it's just ham.
Yeah.
It's just ham.
There's chicken on pizza now.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put
6 is too many.
chicken on a pork-based pizza.
6 meats is way too many. My usual pizza order is mushroom and onion. I don't even order meat.
Wow.
I love mushroom. Let me tell you this. If you had so many mushrooms, Diesel, that you couldn't see the pizza.
I don't even want to do the rest of the show with you.
You like
That's
mushrooms?
the way you order pizza.
Mushroom and onion, baby.
God.
I would like, let me tell you this.
How many of you Tolos are going to text back in and change your vote?
No, mushrooms. I'll eat, listen, I will eat meat on a pizza. If you are hosting a party and you have meat, I'll eat it. But if I'm ordering it, I want mushroom and onion, and that's it. And when I open the box, I want to have so many mushrooms that I cannot see the pizza.
I mean, I love mushrooms.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not bagging on you for loving mushrooms.
Bury me in mushrooms.
But mushrooms and onions only.
That's
red
it.
Onions or white onions?
White. Oh God, red are the worst. Purple's the worst.
Oh
white.
God.
White onions.
You just hate flavor, don't you?
No. I don't want purple or red onions. I want white onions and mushroom.
You think you know somebody, and then you find out their pizza order.
I'm telling you, man, it's so good. It's the best.
Michael.
You read that one. I'm
going to read this text. This comes in.
Michael's terrible.
Michael. He says she's a vegetarian. She don't like meat, but she sure like the bone.
Michael. That's good. Good text.
It's a
Really
good song,
good
too.
Good 5 o'clock
It's a good
fight
song.
and good responses. I think I won more today than I usually do. It's probably because Melissa wasn't here, though. She always sides with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know how to work the system. Okay, I'm the Patrick Mahomes of working Melissa level for her agreement in the 5 o'clock fight. On the other side of the break, Cole, when we come back, is Kyrie Irving turning his back on his own country because Kyrie wants to compete head-to-head with Americans in the Olympics. We'll talk about this next on 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, and everywhere you are on the free Odyssey app.
hot.
Some updates from the meetings between SEC and Big Ten commissioners Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti in New Orleans. Tony Petitti has said that he realizes that seeding changes to the college football playoff format would require a unanimous vote, but that he would be in favor of making it a straight 1 through 12 seeding and getting rid of conference champions getting automatic buys.
Yeah, I was a big proponent of changing that during the season.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State, they won the Mountain West. They earned the 3 seed. Arizona State, number 12 in the country, earned the fourth seed and the other bye, whereas Texas and Penn State had to play in their first round games. But Cole, again, we talked about the fact that the buys didn't help anybody.
They didn't help
it actually
anybody.
helped you to be playing rather than get a bye. So,
But it's the principle of it for me. Like, even if Clemson, let's say this year, who won the ACC, I didn't think they were deserving of a top seed.
So why are we playing conference championship games? Does this move not completely devoid conference championship games other than a money-making vehicle, which that is obviously a big-time concern for these commissioners?
I don't think they'll go away.
Why even have conference championship games if they don't mean anything? If they don't guarantee a spot in, if they don't get you a bye, anything like that. Like I look at Boise State and Arizona State both getting top 4 seeds and a bye as an anomaly, not as the thing that we're going to see year in and year out. But again, these commissioners don't think like the rest of us. Their job is not to look out for college football as a whole. Their job is to look out for their own conferences and their own conferences alone. Cole, speaking of looking out for himself, Kyrie Irving, we've talked about him a lot on the station and on this show. He's known to be a bit of a selfish player in the NBA. He was with LeBron. He left. He went to New Jersey. It didn't work out very well for him. Now he's in Dallas. Do you think Kyrie Irving is betraying his country, Cole, by attempting to play for Team Australia during the 2028 Summer Olympics that will be held in Los Angeles?
Initial reaction, initial thought. Playing for which country?
Australia.
Australia. Was Kyrie Irving born in Australia?
Kyrie Irving was born in Australia. That's what makes this so fascinating is Kyrie Irving holds dual citizenship between Australia and the United States. His dad was a professional basketball player who played in Australia, and Kyrie Irving was born in Australia, moved to the U.S. when he was 2.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that, Kyrie has played for Team USA multiple times. He played in the 2014 World Cup for America. He played in the 2016 Summer Olympics for America. He was not selected for Team USA for the Paris Olympics this year.
You know what, man? I don't have an issue with it.
Last year.
If you were born there, I mean, who's to say that he doesn't have a sense of Australian pride that I'll never be able to understand? I think.
Have you ever detected an Australian accent from Kyrie Irving?
Not really. No.
Do you think he walked into the locker room in Cleveland and said, "Good day, LeBron"?
No, but he was born there. He was born there. I think it's cool. I don't want to say I'm like jealous of people who have dual citizenship, but that to me is pretty spectacular. For somebody, I don't know.
But he moved to the U.S. when he was 2.
Yeah, he's been here most of his life.
He moved here when he was 2.
Was he 27, 28 years old? I mean, I would guess.
No way. There's no way he's 27.
32. I was 4 years old.
So he's been in the U.S. for 30 years. He's competed for the U.S. He's been playing in the league a long time.
I was thinking it was like 28.
He's been playing for Team USA multiple times. I think, Cole, this is more like I know I'm not good enough to get on the USA team anymore. So let me I want to compete. I want to be in the Olympics. My country doesn't want me. I'm just going to go over there to stick it to America. I hate this.
You know what?
I hate this. Be a man. Understand that you're getting a little older and you're not one of the 12 best players who are American anymore. This is awful, dude. This is truly awful. And I wonder if this is a little bit of a political statement as well.
You know what?
Because Kyrie's been known to make those.
It's interesting from the standpoint of if it were to happen, how would those on the United States team respond? Like, if I were playing on the United States team, I'd say, hey, you know what? That's awesome that you're playing for Australia, but I want to beat your brains in. Like, I understand your point of view because he has lived here most of his life. If you want to go over there and play and you're going to compete against us, that's fine. That's cute. But we're going to beat you by 45 points. That's the mentality that I'd have.
Michael says, that's not a knife. This is a knife, mate.
What's that reference?
Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile.
Yeah, remember he's in New York. Some muggers try to come up and steal his wallet or something like that. And the mugger pushes a button and a blade pops out. It's like a little 3-inch switchblade. And then Crocodile Dundee pulls out this like 12-inch Bowie knife. He's like, that's not a knife.
What was the other guy? The crocodile, the other Australian crocodile.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah,
Steve Irwin. He got killed by a stingray.
That's ironic, right?
Yeah, it is. They're very peaceful.
Alligators.
They're very peaceful animal, and the alligator hunter was killed by a stingray. Not even his true expertise.
How did we get there? I'm sorry.
No, we're talking about Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie.
Look, he's betraying his country. He's lived here 30 out of his 32 years. Sure, he was born in Australia. His parents were American. His dad just went over there to play professional basketball. He's made his living here. He's made his life here.
Yeah.
He's competed for this country multiple times. This is Kyrie Irving turning his back on his country, Cole. And like at this point, I mean, I'm really not a fan of like political retribution, but I'm gonna tweet at Donald Trump and say, you know what, it's time for you to take his citizenship. Make him be a full Australian citizen. We don't need him here anymore. Go down there and jump around with your kangaroos if you want to.
So you're okay with him playing as long as he moves and moves to Australia, leaves the United States, doesn't play in the NBA anymore.
Correct.
Plays, I don't know, the Australian Basketball League, the ABL.
What about this, Cole? He's also potentially pushing a talented Australian-born and raised basketball player off of that roster.
They're not any good anyways. I'm kidding. I don't know how many Australians are known for basketball, mate? I don't know. I mean, are there Australian?
There's the article. I don't have the article open anymore, but they did list off like 4 or 5 Australian players who are playing in the NBA, who are going to be playing on this Australian basketball team.
It's interesting, man. Irving, by the way, said, we're in the process of making the switch from Team USA right now, just trying to figure out what's going to be the best route for me to be eligible. There's a lot of paperwork in between that. Team USA still has a decision to make. I'm just trying to do what's best for me. Honestly, if I can be an Aussie at one point in my career and play for the Australian team, that would be great.
By the way, Australia won the bronze in men's.
Did they really?
Women's, excuse me. Australia won the bronze in women's.
Women probably.
Let's see how they. Yeah, Australia finished 6th in the Paris Olympics in basketball. So they're
decent.
They're decent. I mean, it was U.S., France, Serbia, Germany, Canada, Australia, Brazil, Greece, Spain. And then the breakdancing Australian woman. She finished in 11th.
What's interesting, Diesel, is under FIBA rules, players who compete for a country after turning 17 are tied to that country unless the Secretary General of Greece authorizes a switch under exceptional circumstances. How about that?
Does he have to undergo any kind of an operation to do the switch, or do you just like sign a piece of paper?
So that's wild though, right? By the way, Klay Thompson recently tried to make the similar move to play for the Bahamas, where he's from. He was denied. He was denied. 2 women player, Elizabeth Williams and a female that I can't pronounce her name. I don't want to screw it up. They were both prevented from playing for Nigeria. So they say that the Secretary General, has to consider the impact of change in the development of basketball in the countries or territories involved, the level of basketball in the countries involved, such as their world and continental ranking and recent results, the potential impact of the change in the competitive balance of FIBA official competitions, and the circumstances of the participation of the player with the previous national team. I don't think it'll get passed.
So Kyrie said, quote, "We're in the process of undergoing the rules." Says, "Just trying to figure out what's going to be the best route for me to be eligible. There's a lot of paperwork in between that." So he knows he's got a lot of paperwork. He knows he's got a little bit of an uphill battle. I do wonder if FIBA, though, Cole, wants to protect international basketball and say that, just because a player was born here in the U.S., but his parents were from Sudan, for example, he can't go compete for Sudan because he is not Sudanese, and they don't want American basketball players kind of scattering and playing on rosters all over the world.
Whose knees?
Sudanese.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And taking over, because the NBA is a very international league. Got a lot of players coming in from all over the world. Look, I mean, what happened to having pride in your country, Cole, and saying, you know what, I only compete for the U.S. of A. I mean, look at college athletics. Players are moving school to school constantly. They don't have any love for the schools that they play for. It's just a paycheck and it's just a jersey to them. In the NBA, these guys are moving teams constantly. Now you want to let them change what country they compete for? Hell no. Hell no. No, Kyrie.
Diesel
no,
says
Mr. Flat Earth Kyrie does not get to play for Team Australia just because he's not good enough to make it on
I'm with
Team
you on the
USA.
Flat Earth. Now that you brought that up, you're right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, you're right.
Changed your
You're
mind.
right. It changed my mind. I forgot he's a Flat Earther. People who I can't understand that.
Yeah.
Anyways, we will take a break. Come back. I was just texting back and forth with Dan Scott, the play-by-play voice of the Furman Paladins. We were slated to talk SoCon matchups tonight, but instead we'll talk to Dan Scott himself to preview Furman's game tonight, a big one on the road at Sanford. Dan Scott, the play-by-play voice of the Paladins, will join us next.
this has turned into a really fun series since Bucky McMillan came in and took over the job a few years ago. He's really rejuvenated this program. And Bob Ritchie's had more success against him than anybody else in this league. And, of course, Furman beat Samford at the Well earlier this year. But his style is one where they're going to press for 40 minutes, and they do it in multiple ways. So that's what we're going to see here tonight. They're expecting a big crowd. It's a red out. They've already laid out red T-shirts all over the student section behind our broadcast location here. It's going to be loud. It's going to be fun. And, you talked about the Mississippi State transfer, but their spark plug is Rylan Jones. And he's a young man who makes him go on both ends of the floor. And as we're sitting here courtside, he's been out here for about 20 minutes by himself with a couple of managers rebounding for him, getting shots up, 2 hours before the game starts. Nobody else in the gym. That's what great players do. He's out here working, and that's why he has been the leader on this Samford team for the 2 years he's been in this program with Bucky McMillan. It's going to be a crazy night here tonight.
Cole, I didn't tell you this, but last time I saw Dan Scott, he tried to have me thrown out of Bon Secours Wellness Arena, tried to call security on me as I was sitting right behind him. A week ago for their game against Mercer. And Dan, that game kind of got out of hand for Mercer. Furman was able to put up 96 points, just a huge offensive performance there. How do you explain, other than just saying UNC Greensboro plays really good defense, going from a 96-point outburst to a 50-point outburst in the loss against UNCG?
Well, I'd hardly call 50 points an outburst, but you just said it. UNCG is the best defensive team in the league, and it's not even close. And when you get shots against them, you've got to hit them. And if you look at the numbers, they hold opponents to the lowest shooting field goal percentage in the conference, 2-point and 3-point. And there were some moments that the Paladins had opportunities in that game. And the irony is, Furman probably played its best defensive game of the year. The first time these teams met at the Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro scored 84, and Furman held them to 58. We talked the last time I was on the show, and we talked about Bob saying he was going to recommit the starting lineup to the best defensive team. And I think for the last 2 games, we've seen that pay dividends. They're just going to have to find a way to generate points against teams like Mercer. I expect tonight's game to be more of a high-scoring game. Samford allows 72 points a game. They score 82 on average. Their style dictates that the opposition is going to score in the low to mid 70s. It's games against teams like UNCG where Furman's going to have to find a way to get additional points when you get into the postseason, when you get to Asheville in the tournament.
Dan Scott, when you Google how tough is the SoCon, it shows Furman's schedule. Samford win, ETSU loss, Western Carolina win, Chattanooga loss, Mercer win, UNCG loss. Back-to-back wins are hard to come by in this conference, man. What do you make of what you've seen so far?
Well, just what I told you guys the last time that we talked, and Tom and I were talking about it on the drive down here today. Most years you go into Asheville and you think there are, 2, maybe 3 legitimate teams that have a chance to win it, and in a good year, maybe a 4th team who could sneak in there. But I don't think there's anybody who really covers this league night in and night out who could say that on a neutral floor, they would be surprised if any one of 7 teams couldn't actually win this thing this year. And I think that's what you're seeing. And it's really a shame that the league doesn't get more national respect, because it's that good and it's that competitive. And when you look at what's going on with Chattanooga and what's going on with UNCG and Samford, the top 3 teams right now, and yet you've got a Furman team that's fighting to stay out of the play-in game or the play-in round on Friday in Asheville in a couple of weeks, and they're going in here tonight for a season sweep of Samford, which was picked number 1 in the league preseason. So, that just kind of tells you how deep and how talented this league is.
Dan, can you go in a little bit about the development, both in his game and just in his physical stature of a guy like Garrett Heen? He's been around Furman for a long time, and I can recall, 2 years ago looking at Garrett Heen and saying that dude's shaped like a beanpole. Well, now seeing him in person last week, his body style has completely changed. His game has changed. He's driving the lane more than he ever used to. Just go in a little bit about him and how crucial he is to this team.
Well, I mean, he should have matured. He's 37 years old now. I mean, come on, he's been around forever. No, I mean, look, Garrett is one of those kids who's getting the most out of the skills that God has blessed him with. And yeah, he has put on, since he came into the program, he's in his 5th year, all jokes aside, he's in his 5th season, and he has put on, quite a bit of muscle. And the thing that I love about Garrett is, whether he is shooting the ball well, whether he's doing anything well on the floor, he always plays with an edge, and he always plays with passion. And, you can look at numbers. He doesn't shoot free throws well, and he has times where he has trouble staying on the floor because of fouls. But then there are some other games, man, where he can absolutely be the X factor. And you go back to the win over Florida in the NCAA's 2 years ago. He made the 2 biggest plays in that game to set up J.P. Pegues for that game winner. He hit 2 free throws as a 51% free throw shooter with 12 seconds to go to make it a 2-point game, and then intercepted the pass, played it like a free safety, and made the correct read and the correct pass to Pegues for the game-winning shot. He's just that kind of kid. He's got the passion to play the game. He's 22 points away from 1,000 points for his career, and he's one of, I think, if he gets to 1,000, he'd be one of 6 or maybe the 7th player in Furman history to have 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 250 assists in his career. Wow. And that's pretty heady company.
Dan, we'll talk to you in 1 hour from now, man. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Dan Scott, play-by-play voice of the Furman Paladins.
On the other side of the break, Cole, I'll tell you how you could score a flyaway trip to Las Vegas to go hang out for the first 2 rounds of the NCAA basketball tournament. And, Cole, I know it's not a sport that you love, that you spend a lot of time investing in, but are we at the point where we need basically international incidents to get people into sports that they otherwise wouldn't watch? We'll get back into that USA-Canada matchup that we're going to see again tomorrow night next on the Fan Upstate.
Let's go.
It's gone live! A drive into left center field.
From the fields to the courts.
Hot and 5.
And the gridiron to the tracks.
Electrifying sports talk from start to finish.
You're going wire to wire.
With Diesel and Cole Bryson.
On the Fan Upstate.
Cole, it's 37 degrees, rainy, nasty, and earlier today I saw some snow flurries in Malden. Don't know if you got some up there your way in Boiling Springs as well, but the weather is nasty. It's not good. You know where the weather is good, where it's always good? Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas, baby. We want to send you and some friends to Vegas for the Slam Dunk in Vegas contest. All you need to do is Tolo, which you're already doing. Just Tolo some more on the free Odyssey app. Sign in, start listening, get an hour a day of listening in, and you'll be entered in to win this national contest. One lucky winner is going to score a round-trip airfare and accommodations for 4 to Las Vegas, plus $20,000. We're not just going to send you to Vegas with the money you already had in your pocket. We want to send you to Vegas with 20 G's. That sounds like a lot of fun, right?
It does.
That sounds like you get into a lot of trouble or have a lot of fun.
It sounds great, and I'm glad you said that because let me find the dates. I have to put in some vacation time. I didn't win the contest, by the way.
Believe it or not, you do.
I am going to be in Las Vegas May 7th through 10th for a work trip that's not affiliated with this
trip.
Not this work, not this radio station. For my small business that I have. It's one of those dealership, kind of conventions out there. And May 7th through 10th, guess what? I'll be in Vegas, man. So let me see, May. How many is that on a Friday? It is. So I'll be out a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 3 days without me, Diesel. I'll be in Las Vegas coming up in May, man.
How much time are you actually going to spend? See, I've seen
one of those conventions.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of movies that start with the work convention in Vegas, and then they end up partying. They lose their friend. He's up on the roof. I know how this is going to go, Cole.
No.
So I don't even want to hear it. You're going to spend like an hour a day at the convention, and then you're going straight to the slots, aren't you?
An hour a day? No, I'm going to the roulette. Thank you, roulette.
See, we don't want to just send you out there for a couple of hours to have a good time.
Right.
We want to send you out there for the first 2 rounds of the college basketball championships. We'll send you out there, again, airfare, hotel stay at the Circa Resort and Casino Las Vegas, premium sports viewing destination, and you'll get to visit the biggest March hoops party at Stadium Swim. It's a literal amphitheater made of swimming pools where you'll be hanging out watching college basketball. I mean, you could be in the arena. That's fine and all, but is it really better than being in a swimming pool watching? I don't think so.
That's not.
That just seems like the best way to watch it. Good luck in this national contest. All you have to do is Tolo. Turn it on, leave it on the free Odyssey app.
And a quick scoring update. South Carolina's added 2 more in the bottom of the 6th. It is now 3-0. South Carolina leads Queens in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 outs. You mentioned the nasty weather. That field looks horrible. It's pouring down rain.
I mean, the field looks beautiful. Let's be real.
Well, the dirt, I'm saying.
The grass looks great.
The grass looks great. Probably likes the rain, but can you imagine playing baseball, coming off the lower part of the bat, 30-something degree weather and the rain? No thanks, man.
I wonder if they have special batting gloves with a little extra padding, shock absorption.
They are. I've noticed most of them wearing
2 gloves.
You got to wear 2 gloves when it's that cold, man.
Isn't it fun how you see a player who doesn't wear any gloves, especially Major League Baseball? You're like, that's a man's man right there. He's rocking the bare hands, pine tar on his hands. He don't need gloves.
Well, if it's wooden bat's one thing, but that metal bat always.
I don't know, man. Wooden bat hurts crap
that
too.
Metal bat growing up, and I didn't play, at a high level. That metal bat, when it dinged off of that thing, man, it hurts.
It hurts.
Wear the gloves, man. Nobody wants to get hurt.
Speaking of getting hurt, Cole, hopefully the U.S. of A. is going to put a hurting on Team Canada yet again. They had their matchup on Saturday. USA won 3-0. They'll play again tomorrow night, Cole. Tomorrow night in Boston. Oh, can you believe the fresh hell that the Canadians who are coming across the border, are going to get in Boston? They are going to get absolutely demolished. You think Philly's tough.
Yeah.
Philly ain't got nothing on Boston.
You're right.
The GM of the Eagles took a beer can off the dome, started bleeding, and that doesn't hold a candle to what happens in Boston. Cole, the other night we saw 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game.
I love it.
9
seconds.
I mean, these guys, they're all very familiar with each other. This is in lieu, this tournament, this Four Nations tournament is in lieu of an NHL All-Star game, which I love. I hope they keep doing this. It just adds a whole lot of extra juice here.
Yeah.
Not only, Cole, do we have, the pride of playing for your country, Team USA versus Team Canada. You've also got the geopolitical landscape that we're in right now, where our president has upset the Canadians. I'm sure they got a strongly worded letter in response to raising some tariffs. But Cole, this is it's bordering on an international incident. I made the joke earlier. I don't think I can do any better than that. International incident for this game.
Well, you know what? Best of luck to the Canadians. However, I hope they get waxed. We're not gonna look.
Team USA is a big physical team. We love to hit.
Let's hit them.
Canada wants to play
and
with skill and speed.
Oh, screw the skill. Screw the. Let's hit them and hit them again. And I mean, after you hit them again, hit them again. That'd be fun, man. That'd be a fun place to be. Can you imagine being at that event with those two teams, Diesel, hating each other as much as they do? Come on, we've got to bring this home, man. I love it. To your point, I love the format. I think more leagues should adopt it.
We basically have a team full of Fulton Reeds out there. Fulton Reed was the enforcer, the tough guy in Mighty Ducks, the movie. Great hockey movie, very accurate. You should watch it, Cole, if you've never seen it before.
I've seen it.
But we had them, and then Fulton Reed teamed up with another guy, and they were the Bash brothers. We just love to hit people here in America.
I do.
The GM for the U.S. men's team, Bill Guerin, was asked about this on America's Newsroom on Monday, and he asked if the brawls that happened were ignited because of the booing, because the Canadian crowd there was booing the U.S. national anthem. He said, I think it's a little bit of everything. The booing, the international tariffs that are going on right now. Canada-U.S. is a huge rivalry in hockey. I think there was a little bit of a political flair to it. It's just the time that we're in. I think our guys use that as inspiration. If you let it get the better of you, then you're in trouble. But I really do think the players used it as inspiration.
Well, nobody likes being little brother, do they? I mean, who's ever likes being little brother?
Here's the thing, Cole. We have to whoop their ass because
we
they're on our turf.
Yeah.
They're in our country.
Yeah.
And as much as, people from the South probably hate people from Boston.
Oh,
we're
rooting
on them now.
We love them.
We're rooting for them.
We love them, baby.
Yeah. If you want to direct all that hate and nastiness to another country, do it.
Let's do it.
Like, I know you despise the Philadelphia fan base, the Eagles,
Phillies.
the Phillies, all of it. But Cole, if Team Canada was playing this game in Philadelphia, you'd be the biggest Philly fan ever.
I mean, I'd go and support the green. I'd wear the green. I'd wave my hands like the idiots do that pull for the Eagles. It's part of it.
Would you buy one of the "I Bleed for the City" T-shirts?
Yeah, to beat Canada, I would. I mean, come on. It doesn't matter what team you pull for. What your political stance is, what religion you are. I mean, if it's a matter of country, here's my problem with people. They always say, it doesn't matter, who the president is. We're one country, right? And then they get their feelings hurt because their president didn't win. So there's bitterness. But you know what? When this kind of event comes up, man, none of that matters. None of it freaking matters. We're going and we're taking names. You said it. It's on our turf. We gotta win. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm not even a hockey guy.
It's on our turf. We won in the first matchup that was a semifinal game. We have to win this.
You got to win it.
We got to win it. You know what? I think we need.
When is this?
We need streakers on the ice. I think we need to show off American culture. Remember that girl that got famous for flashing her
Janet
you-know-whats?
Jackson?
No, not her. Well, she did that too, but this happened more recently.
Oh, okay.
She got famous for flashing her you-know-whats at a
hockey
game.
Yeah. I remember you brought that up.
And so we need more of that. You distract the Canadians. However, look. Canada is very good at producing attractive women. Shania Twain. You had Pam Anderson. She's Canadian too. They're real good at that. But I think America, we're better at it. We're
what's
just
crazy?
Flat better.
I met somebody on Friday evening, Diesel. This guy I was talking to at I think it was a local restaurant I was at Friday night, and he's from Canada.
Really?
Okay.
I've never met a Canadian.
Oh, listen, I don't know if I have either, but listen, this guy, he says he's from Canada at least. He looks no different than me, talks no different than me, and when he told me he was from Canada, I couldn't believe it. He didn't look any different. He doesn't talk different. No difference at all.
Most people don't know that you're Bosnian, so it's wild how that happens.
And where's Bosnia again? I forgot.
It's left of Herzegovina.
And Herzegovina, did I say it again?
Herzegovina.
Yeah. Is north of God, you're ridiculous.
Croatia.
Please don't tell me really you know this.
Croatia.
Are you being serious? You
No, I'm gonna look at that.
Oh my!
If it's Croatia, I'm gonna.
I don't even know where. I don't even know. Like, if you told me to point it out on the globe, I know it's not United States. It's probably over on the opposite side. I mean, where do you get this stuff?
No way.
It's near Croatia.
It's Bosnia Herzegovina is east of Croatia.
How do you know?
Booyah! I literally guessed. On that one. So it's see, there you go. You got Hungary. You got Slovenia.
Yeah, I am getting hungry.
You got Austria there. Romania's nearby. I know you love their lettuce, the Romanian lettuce.
Have you been out of the country before?
Yeah.
Besides Myrtle Beach?
No, Curacao. I've only been to Curacao.
I've been to Israel, and that's the only time I've ever been out of the country. So
what's that north of?
Israel is north of Turkey.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm going to guess. It's not far from Turkey, is it? Look it up and see. Israel.
Turkey is up here.
Turkey's north of Israel.
Israel's south of Turkey.
Okay.
But you got to go through a couple countries to get there.
Okay.
I know this is a fascinating geographic lesson. It's Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan. Then you're in Israel.
And what's south of Israel, to answer the question?
That is
nothing. Water.
Egypt.
Oh yeah.
No, that's part of Saudi Arabia.
That's what
this little triangle here thing between Egypt and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I don't want to go there. No, that's no interzone. You're not supposed to go there.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's fun though.
It's the South Sinai Governorate, of course. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
Cole, we had a fantastic show for you today. We appreciate all of our guests coming on. As a matter of fact, we're going to bring back a conversation from earlier in the show with Peter Flaherty III of Baseball America. We talk Gamecocks, we talk Tigers, we talk all things SEC and ACC ball. That conversation coming your way next on the Fan Upstate.